as a cinephile and a movie nerd and television nerd, it's not just about the content for me. It's about the attention to detail and styles that I really like from different directors and things like that. Um, Vince Gilligan has his. You see it in Better Call Saul. You see it in Breaking Bad. I've been hearing things about Pluribus, which is on Apple TV now, another show that he created. Just the small, subtle way that he does shots. I think we talked about it earlier, and I don't know if it was episode 2 or 3 when we saw the cold open with the blood after the tub had collapsed, and just the way they started, where you get that I'm looking from this view with I'm on the bottom and looking up, and we're seeing them clean that up. And then this episode's the same way, where you kind of just look at this black screen and these white particles coming, and it's just I love trademarks like that. Spike Lee in the dolly shot, all types of things where you can kind of see this trademark, and I love the fact that we don't know exactly what it is we're looking at, and then
Mm-hmm.
immediately get into Walt for the first time coming back in that RV and really looking around saying, "What the fuck? Like, what have you been doing?" And as expected, right? If you leave, it's like almost like leaving a dog home all day. Like
Mm-hmm.
unless that dog is highly trained, you gonna have to clean some shit up when you get back.
Yeah.
No pun intended. You know what I mean? He's just looking around like, I leave this in your hands and it's bullshit. And I love the fact that you know, one thing about this episode and this scene in general is we see Walt, and we've been building up towards it. We see Walt taking more control over his life and really setting boundaries and setting expectations with people. Um, it wasn't a parent talking to a son speech, but it was him looking around on some. Let's get this straight right now, bro. Like we toyed around with this idea of getting back together. I'm kind of forced into it, so we're this is an arranged marriage. But let me set something clear. I do the chemistry, you do the street shit. I don't want to hear nothing about these cuss. I don't want to kick it with them, skate with them, hang with them, none of that. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear it. I don't want them knowing who I am. Like, you take care of that street shit, you sell it. I'm going to make sure we cook it and everything going from there. And really, I remember the first time watching this, and as he's talking and he's mentioning things like no more bloodshed, but we see a scene of him with a bald head with blood coming out his nose, chaos in the background. I remember thinking like, what the fuck is going on? What does y'all remember about watching this for the first time and seeing like, yo, first of all, Walt's head is shaved. Second of all, he's walking out with a bag while some other shit happened behind him. Like I remember because the show does such a great job in these first 5 episodes of making Walt look like a poo put and looking like somebody who's letting your son cuss you out like you ain't got it in you, but we see he just probably did some big boy shit or witnessed some big boy shit. Y'all remember the first time you watched it and what your thoughts were as you watched this cold open?
This was one of those moments in this series to kind of like put a nail in the coffin as far as you're not leaving. You're
Yeah.
not getting away from this, even though it may have drug on for you for these first 5 episodes. You get to this episode, you see this, they back together, you think, okay, what could happen this time in the little buddy comedy? And they flash to Walt walking out of a burning building. You're like, wait, what? I like we've heard Vince talk about this in interviews, how he talks about they write themselves into a corner. A lot of times in these cold openings, you can tell that. You can tell they went on to the place where it's like, well, how we gonna get out of that if I ain't really talked about this before. It's like, no matter. We here now. We got to figure it out. That's what I love about these cold opens. And one thing I'll say about the bullet holes, they did a great job in these making something as ominous as those bullet holes, but it has so much meaning we know in later episodes. Like in later episodes, we see like, damn, they've been showing us this is episode 6, season 1. These shit come back up maybe 2 seasons from now, a season and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing, amazing work.
Yeah, I thought it was seeing him like walk out at that time. It was like I don't know why. Like when I first watched it, I don't know if maybe I missed it, overlooked it because that first time watching, like you're still trying to figure out again. Like I don't even know if I like this show, but I'm going to
Mm.
keep watching to see what happens. So I remember like seeing that, and it felt so far away from when it actually happened in the episode. I don't know why I felt that way. It's just feel like we're getting this glimpse of him walking. And it's like on some real Grand Theft Auto feeling. What I'm saying, watching him walk off and all this chaos and colors and abandoned building and all that. And so um, enjoying it. And again, there's this interesting thing with what Walt does, even in this scene when he's talking to Jesse. He thinks that there is this like because Walt is trying to make a change in his life, but he's always been by the book. Like that's the way he's done things, by the book. And so he thinks
Mm-hmm.
there's a by the book way to operate in the streets. And he's going to find out quickly that there is no by the book way of doing it. Like, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And that's what I really like about it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to smell it. I don't want to be around people. I don't want no bloodshed. You thinking one plus one equals two in that scenario, and you think A, B, C, but that ain't how it works at all. You have other factors, and we will get that reveal later in the episode. So I just like the idea that this is uh the big reveal finally happened, and of course the shaved head when we get there is the transformation to Heisenberg.
Agreed. Agreed. Welcome back to another episode of No More Half Measures with your three hosts. I'm your man's Rich, joined by my good brother Maurice Hunt III. Also with the legend Spike Lou. Brothers,
What
how
up,
y'all
though?
feeling today, man?
Hey, listen.
Glad to be back.
Hey, listen. I'm getting the RV ready. I'm getting my affairs in order, and I'm ready to cook.
Ready to cook, man. Y'all see, I rocked the baldy in honor of our first our first instance or ish. What am I trying to say? Our first appearance from Heisenberg. Same
uh,
character, but we hear their name Heisenberg for the first time. Now here's the difference. Mo can grow hair. Mo can have different hairstyles. I don't have a choice in the matter. Like the baldy's always gonna be with me. Um, so it is what it is. But I felt in honor of this
right.
episode, might as well rock the baldy and go from there. But
Hey,
we
man, why you
appreciate y'all
should
for
you should commit it all the way. Go stash only, man.
you crazy. You trying to get me locked up. Somebody gonna say, hey man, he look like hell nah.
That's
If I pull,
nasty.
I wouldn't even
That's
know.
nasty right
He
there.
like a
Yeah, man.
'90s
It is
sitcom
Hey,
father, bro.
if you had popped on here with just a stash, I would have called you. I'm like, bro, you all right?
Hey,
You think
this
good,
this
bro?
this
I
episode
don't
this episode
even
ain't even coming out.
I don't even like
Just
when
got the
my
stash?
I don't even like the shadow beard at this point, like getting too
Yeah,
low. Like I don't even
yeah,
let alone just the stash.
yeah.
They be doing that too in November. Movember, I think they call it and shit like that, where they just do the mustache.
Hey,
I'm
wow.
cool on all that. I'm cool on all that, man. So it is what it is. But we appreciate all y'all out there. Appreciate you for tuning in, for listening. Thank you for supporting us. Thanks for leaving comments. We'll get to those in a second, actually. Check us out on YouTube. Hopefully, you like the cold open. And I do want to give a shout out to my brother Mo because the graphics, if you look on the YouTube page, the graphics for our background are pristine. And not only is it just he's not lazy with it either. Like the photos in the background are actually specific to the episode. You could easily just make a random display of all this Breaking Bad stuff and keep it there the whole time, but he put some time and effort into that. Can't thank you enough for all the work you do behind the scenes to make this look good.
Thank you,
Even our
brother.
backgrounds we see right here. So the cold open was my idea. I thought of it. I I carried it. I went ahead and just said, you know what, this would be great. Nah, man, I'm pretty sure Spike Lou came up with that idea, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Hopefully, y'all understood. We didn't want to throw anybody off, but hopefully, y'all understood what we were
Yeah.
trying to do. We're trying to get our Breaking Bad feel, where we just kind of come in and then do the intro similar to the show. So, salute to you, Spike Lou. Great idea, and Mo, thanks for executing it, editing it, making sure it flows seamlessly. Shout out to y'all, brothers, man. Couldn't imagine anybody else to do a podcast like this with.
Hey, man. Yes, sir.
Facts.
Thank you, brother.
No doubt. Before we get into the stats of the episode, I did mention comments. And before I even get to the comments, I want to remind everyone this week is obviously going to be Thanksgiving, eating day, time for your family, whatever you do, however you celebrate it. We will want to remind you there will not be an episode next Monday. We're going to take the week off to spend time with our family. Also, please make sure if you have a way to do it, whether you email us, whether you do it on Instagram, make sure you wish our good brother Spike Lou a happy birthday. November 26th, the
Yes.
day before Thanksgiving. He is celebrating another year. Always a blessing. So make sure you show him some love, man, for all the work that he puts in and just being a genuine good dude, man. Shout out to Spike Lou.
Appreciate that,
Hey
my
man,
brother.
y'all. Here's what y'all can do, just to
Appreciate that.
be real supportive. Just get when y'all cook breakfast. You know what I'm saying? Get the turkey bacon and put the 5-0 on that scramble. Like do it yourself. Don't pull from Breaking Bad and send it to inbox. I am Spike Lou. You know what I'm saying? And you know
uh,
that'd be great.
nah,
That'd be a
you,
great.
no, it needs to
It
be
would be
5-2.
amazing.
5-2. All right.
Stupid.
Not 5-0, 5-2. But we
28
appreciate
out here
y'all,
in the
man.
streets.
Yeah, all right. All right. How many years you been 28? 17. 28 years he been 28. But we do want to
Wrong
get to
for
one of our
mine.
favorite parts of the show, which is the emails, comments. Nine. We first one comes from our guy Milton. Milton, just want to let you know, my brother, you sent an email with 5 paragraphs, and I want to let you know I'm gonna read every single word. You probably have no idea why that means anything. You would probably expect someone to read your email when they write in, but if you go back and listen to all the episodes, you'll understand why that's a big deal over here. But have no
Facts.
fear, I got you, man. Don't worry.
Milton is our
Uh,
boy from New Mexico.
yep, from Albuquerque,
Oh, I
absolutely.
want to hear this.
Yeah, shout
I'm
out to
glad
Milton,
you reading
man.
it.
Yeah, of course, man.
Glad you reading it, man.
So Milton writes us and says, "Gentlemen, I was listening to episode 4 while I was driving and was laughing when you were clowning my AOL email. That's hilarious. People always make fun of it. I like to still use it because it has a nice little built-in joke that some folks will get." Milton Roberts. I'm not sure if the joke is the name or the actual AOL, but either way. All right, being black in Albuquerque has been cool for me. As you guys know, being black anywhere has its own set of unique circumstances. I'm sure you guys know what I mean. With a name like Milton, they don't know what to expect. They might be expecting Milton from the movie Office Space. Shout out to the Red Stapler. I actually own a Red Stapler because of that movie. Most people here are super friendly. I love the weather, the overall cost of living, and the food is amazing, just to name a few. I think the show does a good job capturing the vibe of the city. I can remember when I came here in 2002 before the show started. I would see stories on the local news of houses in residential neighborhoods blowing up due to people cooking meth who obviously did not know how to cook. Then to have this show a few years later about meth was interesting to say the least. I appreciate Vince Gilligan shooting the show here while also using Albuquerque as the location of the story. I read that he was considering some different locations in California as a location for the story, but ended up choosing Albuquerque for financial reasons, including tax incentives that New Mexico provided that allowed them to save money on production. He could have made the story in California while shooting it here, but I'm glad he decided to change the story location. It's cool watching the show and seeing familiar locations. I had my car washed a few times back in the day at the car wash where Walt was working. The school where he teaches is a real school here in the city, along with several other locations that will become important as the story progresses. They really embrace the city in the show, and the city itself becomes a character, in my opinion. By the way, in Albuquerque, we are not sitting around bored on a Friday night trying to smoke meth to take the edge off. That is filthy work. Anyway, thanks for reading my email and making me a small part of your pod. I appreciate you guys. Cheers, Milton.
Cheers,
Shout out
brother.
to you.
Hey, cheers,
Shout
man.
out
You
to
you
you,
We
you
man.
you.
appreciate that.
Hey, you Millie on the pod, man. You Millie on the pod, man. Shout out to Millie.
Yeah,
You
Millie,
just
man. Shout
changed the
out.
man name.
Hey, that's
Changed
what.
the man name.
Hey, he know it's black culture. That's what we do.
Yeah, we just take a nickname and go from there, man. Shout out to you, Milton, man. We appreciate that. And anytime, brother, you want to provide some insight on something you see or got an interesting story about something, I think it's real dope that you got
Yeah.
your car washed at the where Walt used to work. You know what I mean? I
Is
think
he
that's
gonna
really
be our
cool.
Chris
So,
Malone?
yeah, man. There's only one Chris Malone, but yeah, you
Of
can definitely
course.
be that version of it. Shout out to Chris, shout out to Kiori,
Yeah.
all our peoples from Good Earners
Facts. Shout
that
out to those
followed
guys.
us over here. But yeah, Milton, man, join the fold. We definitely appreciate you. Thanks for that insight. We also got another email from Aunt Celestino. Sorry if I mispronounced that last name. It's titled Cancer Man. Fellas,
He's
I
the
got a
guy.
couple of three yeah, I got a couple of three things to say, and it's a long one, so if you cut me off, I won't hold you. Shout out Michelle. Once again, Milton, classic good earners moment. Classic. Firstly, the episode brought to you by the letter L. We heard about Jesse's loser language, Walt in the loser lane, Loserville, loser on loser action, Brandon, the ultimate loser, wrote the book on losing, etc. Which makes me think, if Tony Soprano was TV's first anti-hero, then Walter White might be TV's first anti-loser because he keeps winning despite his loser tendencies, which of course makes Jesse the loser hero of the show. Kind of like Christopher Moltisanti in Sopranos or Al Bundy in Married with Children. Not just because they take a licking and keep on ticking, because we rooting for them to win even though we know they were always born to lose. Speaking of similarities, there is a therapy scene in Breaking Bad that plays out sometime from now. Until then, we just have to make do picturing a different therapy session. Spike sitting in Dr. Melfi's office asking the question, "What about the fact I hate Walt's son?" Oh, because let's be honest, when Flynn when Flynn told Walt to just die, everyone listening to the show's estimation of Walter White as a father just plummeted.
Absolutely.
But the ass whooping Spike served up to a kid with cerebral palsy, she in this Clay Davis voice. He says the mission was to review Cancer Man, not get canceled, man. Uh, I won't.
He's so cold with this, bro.
He's so cold, man. I won't say my first instinct wouldn't also be to plant my foot up his ass, but I'll leave it at this. It's clear Spike ain't taking Walt Jr. to get Cold Stone ice cream anytime soon. On the topic of therapy, Rich could use some anger management, going full out Michael Douglas falling down up in here, choking out a little man's while rocking the Chuck E. Cheese outfit is wild behavior.
He
But
crossed
since we
over.
talking,
He
but
crossed.
since we, but since we talking Walt Jr., well, you get a pass for that. Appreciate you, man. And then Hank offers to buy, offers to pay for Walt's treatment. We all know how exactly he's going to get paid back. 100% he is going to clap those cheeks. But of course, Mo was thinking that. Smooth talking ball, smooth talking ball with the beard, Luke Cage, late night voice, motherfucker Mo's know what's up. Hold on, I gotta say that one more time, man. Just for the record, for those who for those who missed it, call Mo a smooth talking ball with the beard, Luke Cage, late night voice, motherfucker. That's you, Mo. That's who he's talking about. He's talking about
Luke
you.
Cage is good. That's really good, bro.
Luke Cage.
Lastly, on the subject of getting down, you know Hank is absolutely knocking the purple out of Marie. Not knocking the purple out of Marie is hilarious.
Sheesh.
I'm not gonna say, hey, she was a whore. I'll save that for Skylar when we get to that. As Vito would say, you gotta wait for that.
Hey, perfect crossover, man. He's the best emailer by far, bro.
You gotta be, hey man, you gotta be a writer. Like you have to.
He has
write
to be.
You have to be. Like if you just this witty and clever for no reason, man, you gotta. I'll produce a show for you, bro.
Yeah.
Like we gotta get you something, bro. This shit's hilarious. Shout out to that.
Help me
man.
write
That was-
help me write my next script, bro.
That's
Oh
great,
man.
bro. You got to do one of these
Oh.
every episode, man.
Yeah, at this point, man, you setting the bar
at
high,
this
man. We
point,
appreciate this. We got a YouTube comment from RL Smith 6625. Commented, I did not get the last two podcast episodes of my podcaster, even though I am subbed to the podcast. Not sure what's going on there. We might have to double check that, man. Maybe I need to double check Mo's work and make sure it's getting out to all the right places, man. Because we had our
I
guy
don't know.
last
I'm
week
getting
said-
them every episode, but I mean,
I am too, so I wonder what it is.
are y'all iPhone users? That's the question.
Yeah, I don't know if you're on the same one as our guy. I don't know if it's Ernest or
Yeah, if you're
what-
not on
what's the brother's
iPhones,
name?
what is the podcast app you're using? Because those other ones that it could be later as far as how it sequences over there. Because I don't upload on every site. Like normally the sites just pick up your podcast, and before you know it, it's just over there. But like I don't put them over there. Like so, if you ain't getting them,
Tell us what you use, what platform. I'll get with Mo. We'll make sure everything's uploaded. Sometimes it could be a small little glitch that's causing issues.
Hmm.
It could be, Spotify or Apple themselves. We never know. So we'll try to
Yeah.
get that fixed for you. Thankfully, you found it on YouTube, and hopefully that's working for you. But
Yeah.
we'll try to make sure all your audio needs are taken care of as well. Um, we have a DM from Monica. Shout out to Monica. Monica, she sent a picture of her table, her kitchen table. It says hot sauce belongs on the table all the time. My family and I don't put it on eggs, but it's handy to have around. Shout out to
Hmm.
Monica. I think most specifically asked for Monica's input
Yeah.
on white people and hot sauce and all that
What
kind of
kind of
good
hot
stuff
sauce
and
was it?
what they do. This picture's too small for me to actually see.
Mm.
Let me see if I can zoom in. It is uh tap. I
Louisiana.
don't know.
That
No, it's not
the
Louisiana.
top of the
The one with the little Spanish lady.
yeah the Spanish
Tapatio.
joint.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
is.
Mm.
Yeah, so shout out
Okay.
to Monica.
All right.
We have another comment from RL Smith 6625. We just mentioned as far as not getting the episodes, but he did. I don't know if it's a he or she. I'm not sure. I can't see their profile picture, but they did comment on our last episode, Great Matter. The comment reads: This episode shows that Walter White's reputation and background should have afforded him more avenues to provide better for his family than either selling meth or even going to Great Matter. The cancer diagnosis, of course, forced Walt to deal with mortality, but what scared him was not that he was leaving his family with nothing, it was that he had not made a name for himself that people would long remember. With all his intelligence and talent, his life was not going to matter. The cancer shook him out of his stupor. That's a great point.
Yeah,
I
I agree.
really like that. That is a
Yeah,
great
facts.
point. It was all egotistical from there. We appreciate the comment. Uh, Goody Jenkins. Shout out to our guy Goody, man. Another week in the book listener, the whole nine. He left a Spotify comment saying, I wasn't talking, go ahead. That was a reference to Spike Lou just saying, fuck what Rich got to say.
Man, that
My
was so good.
whatever I have to say is more important.
That
So
was so good. That was
shout
so
out to
good.
Goody.
God, that was good.
Nigga.
That was good.
We got one final comment, man, from our guy Kiori. We just mentioned him earlier, man. He commented on Gray Matter as well. The invitation saying no gifts, yet they had a whole gift table set up is some egregious rich people shit. At least Walt's gift was very sentimental and hard to find. If I went to an acquaintance's party and they pulled that, I would pull out a partially used gift card from my wallet, place it on the table, and immediately dip. I think that's fucking hilarious. Nigga get a gift card and realize there's 37 cents on that motherfucker, bro. I would that shit. That is a top tier move, and I probably will steal that from you,
That's
Kiori,
pretty
if
good.
that ever happens to me. Yeah, absolutely. That's
That's pretty.
good.
That's pretty darn good.
That's good,
Who
man.
you been hanging
Great.
with, Kiori?
Hey man, he
That's
out in
good.
that Cali life. He doing what he
Man,
need to do.
yeah, that's good.
Great batch of emails, man. We really
Hmm.
appreciate that. Comments, the whole nine. Like I said, I know a couple people are mentioning about the episodes uploading. I'm sure Mo didn't do anything different than what he did from Good Earners,
Hmm.
but we will make sure everything is good to go. So thank you. And with that being said, we're gonna get into the episode. We're at season one, episode six. Crazy handful of nothing. Shout out to Cool Hand Luke. If you know, you know. That's where this title comes from. Episode premiere March 2nd, 2008. Directed by Bronwyn Hughes and written by George Mastras. It is currently streaming on Netflix if you want to watch along. Spike Lou, do we have
What
a
it do?
synopsis for this episode?
We do. This is, as you just said, a season one, episode six. In this episode, Jesse and Walt open the episode back in the trap. He's in the trap, and they promise each other no violence. Walt starts his cancer treatment under the guise that Elliot is paying for everything. His check was just in the mail. Got it. Put it in. I put it in my account. We see the effects from the treatment while Walt watches Jesse found out about Walt's cancer doing a cook. And we get introduced to Tuco. This
Tuco
is
Salamaka.
facts. This is season one, episode six of No More Half Measures.
Appreciate you, good brother. Thank you for that. And let's get into the episode after our cold open, of course. Walter is getting treatment for cancer, undergoing chemotherapy. Tells Skylar that she doesn't really have to be there, but she wants to. And then he tells you, you know what? It would make me feel better if you, knowing that you were at home waiting on Walt Jr. for when he gets home from school. I'm sure Walt Jr. hates that. I think everybody remembers what it's like to be a teenager and just wanting the crib to yourself to do whatever it is that
Facts.
teenagers do. Skyler asks if Elliot has sent the check, and Walter says he's already putting in his credit union account, as like Spike Lee mentioned in his synopsis. And we see him writing a check, but asking the censor not to deposit it until Monday. Fellas, this is our opening scene after the cold open. What are we thinking right now as far as Walter getting his chemo and lying about getting the money?
He's trying to create some room. Like in I believe was it episode 2 or 3 where he was like, can you please like climb out of my ass just this once? Like
Mm-hmm.
we clearly know what type of woman Skylar is and how she just has to be in every facet of Walt's life. So I think he's trying to create some distance. Okay, babe, sure. Like even in that morning when he compromised and said, "Hey, okay, I'll go through the treatment." Like these are things to like. I feel like it's appealing to his wife, but his mind had already shifted in the sense that I'm gonna start making decisions for myself. So I think he's trying to create some distance. Like, okay, cool. I don't want to ask any extra questions. I don't want to give her. I don't want to set any alarms off. Let me just do this because I know what I'm about to get into. So I think right now he's just like, okay, happy wife, happy life. She's pregnant, cool. Yep, I got it. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my interpretation. So
I don't disagree with you. Do we think that Skylar doesn't have Walter's credit union information? Like, is there on any planet on Earth is this a possibility that she don't got his credit union information
That's
based
a
off
great
what you just
question.
said too?
you may be right.
Like, come on, bro. Like she.
You're right.
So I only say that to say when you look at it a second or third time through, you start to realize. I know the first time that I watched this series and she realized what Walt had going on, I was like, ah, that's kind of bullshit. That's kind of stretch. But this is the episode that people start putting shit together. Like we'll talk about it later with him and Hank. Even something that they never pointed out, but it comes out later. And then right here, when he tells her this, I'm like, bro, there's no way she don't have that credit union information. Like it's totally implausible knowing what we know about everybody from right here to this episode.
I agree 100% with you. The
Mm.
only thing that I thought was that's just one thing I couldn't see Walter lying about because you know your wife is going to double check that. So I'm like, maybe it is his own separate thing. But even then, even if it is his own separate thing, Skylar is the type that's going to find a way to
She
find that
know.
information. Even if she
Yeah.
Right.
doesn't know it willingly, her curiosity is strong and
Mm-hmm.
she will find a way to dig through things.
Mm-hmm.
I just think about her star, what was it, Star 69 and Jesse,
Mm-hmm.
just to try to find out who was this calling. Like, she does not, that's just who she is.
She go through your
And
phone when you're not there.
she'll go through your phone when you are there.
That's
Yeah, he
true.
could be go
You
to
know
the
what I'm saying?
bathroom.
That's
She
true.
going through your phone.
That's true.
Yeah, straight up. Like
He,
and yeah, and present it to you like she wasn't the one going through your phone. Like
Yeah.
Skylar.
facts.
Like
Anyway,
that's not the
Yeah,
point. The point is,
what I
but I
found.
thought the same thing, Spike Lee.
Yeah, but I see this as an episode where we start to see Walt still think it's going to be as easy as he think, however, death meth dealing is going to be from his interactions with Jesse, his interactions with Hank, his right even here with his interaction with his wife. He's thinking I'm going to be smart enough, but you ain't thought about some of the smallest things.
and is
This
that
being one of them. So
Rich? You bring. I mean, Spike. You brought up something good about implausible about her not knowing. Something else is interesting now that you got me. The wheels are turning. I lost my train of thought. Damn. It's something about. I'll come back. Keep going. It's something about the
mm,
criminal part of what he's doing. Oh, him. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. So it makes me think like, could he have really been this naive, not to think that this is not how the streets are based on his interaction with Crazy Eight? You know what I mean? And Ernesto, or I believe that's his name, or his cousin.
mhm.
Like, does he
So
really believe that like, I mean, it's plausible to say, okay, this is a rarity. This is not every day. This is just a day in the life. This is like Friday. You know what I'm saying? It's only this day that this happens. This is not how the
to
streets normally are. So I don't know. It just seems, I don't know.
to quote Spike Lee, man, he don't think fat meat greasy.
Mm.
Like he think this shit's like when you are completely out of that world. It's almost like when I got a homie who has such a rational self confidence that it's almost inspiring, but you know it's insane as well.
Rational.
And I'm talking no irrational.
Oh,
Like he's
irrational.
irrationally confident.
Huh.
Like yes, irrationally confident. Shout out. I'm trying to think if I want to say who he is. You
Oh,
know who
I know
he
who
is.
it
I'll
is.
tell you. I'll tell you who
The
he is.
wrestler.
I already know. I was gonna
Uh,
say from the Ronda Rousey
The
conversation.
wrestler. I know. Yeah, the wrestler.
no, 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 no,
Oh,
not
no, no.
not Bug, not
Oh.
Bug. No, this is
Oh.
Rio. This is Rio. The school co-host on
Oh
his
wow,
pod.
my
Now
guy.
Rio's so Rio is on two occasions I personally witnessed him challenge former professional athletes or college D1 athletes in their skill set. One of my boys was not only a D1 football player, but also could hoop his ass off. And I remember being out on a Friday night and Rio swearing up and down he would bust his ass and hoop. And not in a playful way, like ha ha he he. Like, nah, we can lace him up right now, I'll bust your ass. And then nigga looking at him like, what? Like when it's like me coming up to Tom Brady and saying I can be a better quarterback than you. And the nigga just kind of you think he playing and then you realize, oh, this nigga serious. And then he had another dude, my boy Dre. Well, Dre ran Division 1 track for Georgia Tech, and he swore up and down, "I will beat you in a race." And it wasn't joking; he was serious and got smoked on both occasions. I was there to witness both of them. He had a group of people pull up to a track to watch this race just to see him get embarrassed. But he really, 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 really thought that he was going to beat that man in a race. And we were all sitting here like, bro, this man's trained his whole life for this. He does this. That's like somebody saying whatever you good at, they can just walk in and do it. Like you just are
Yeah.
clueless to the fact of
He,
what's
he
going on.
he needs to be studied.
Yeah, but that's who he's been. I always say this about Rio, man. That's the one thing I respect about him because he's been like that since I've known him,
Hmm.
and I've known him since he was like in fourth grade, fifth grade,
Hmm.
right? And he's been that way. He's very consistent, but he's very irrational. But he
Hmm.
he believes it in his head. He
Like, Ba-
believes he's the like
like
yes,
Bow
the
Wow versus
best of
Kobe.
whatever. Yes, yes. Like seriously, you cannot tell him different. He'll get smoked by 5 seconds in the race and come back and say, "Yeah, but next week, give me a week. I'll come back." And like, bruh, like, just accept the fact you're not there.
Hey, I
And
can't
I
wait.
think,
I can't wait to talk to him again.
yeah, you gotta talk to Rio, man. You gotta ask him about that shit, and you gonna understand what I'm saying because he gonna play it off like, man, if the weather was 3 degrees warmer and X Y Z out of
I
one, he
can't.
one of them
I
type
can't.
niggas.
I can't wait.
That's my guy. Either way, I say all that to say sometimes you see shit from an outside and don't understand how much work it actually takes to pull that off.
Hmm.
Cooking it is one thing. Yes, you know people sell drugs. Yes, Hank works for the DEA. Yes, you know drug deals come down. Yes, you know. Yes, you've been on a ride along. But bro, you have no idea what the ins and outs of the situation are, and
Hmm.
it's not as easy as you think it is. And you're gonna find out real quick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rio, man. Goofy ass. What else? Moving on to the next scene. Walter is teaching. Spike Lewis smirks be getting me weak, man. Walter is teaching. Walter is teaching class and tells his students about chemical reactions. They involve the change on two levels: matter and energy. There is mercury fulminate on the blackboard, which is something that we will find out about later in the episode. He explains that if things happen too quickly, harmless substances can react in a way that generates enormous bursts of energy. Once again, some foreshadowing. He asked the class for an example, and they mention an explosion. Walter is physically going through it. We see him kind of having these phases, and he is not physically himself due to the chemo. He leaves the classroom, goes to the bathroom where he vomits, and then we meet Hugo, the school custodian, who is very helpful, cleans up the vomit for Walter, lets him know you have kids to teach. Don't worry about this. I got you. Very thoughtful, very kind about it, and Walter thanks him. What are your thoughts on this scene as Walter is mentioning explosions and matter and energy, and also getting our first look at Hugo?
Yeah. It's like the class thing. It's kind of like I don't know if that was going through his head, but it's like, yeah, this it, bro. Like it's this it. You cooked here. But like the only thing I was thinking about with the like Hugo and the throw up thing, and I thought, and am I wrong when I say this? And we ain't been introduced to Saul, obviously, but wasn't the little black dude that was with him? Was his name Hugo?
Back to who?
That was with Saul.
I
Oh,
don't know.
the comedian
Yeah, wasn't his name Hugo?
LeVar Crawford. is who you're talking about, but I don't know what his name was on
Lavelle.
here.
Uh,
Lavelle Crawford. Yeah,
Yeah, but I thought his name was
it might
Hugo
have been
though.
Hugo. You might be right.
So
I'll,
it
I'll
might be
look it up
right.
while y'all. I'll look it up while y'all talk
Okay,
about it.
that's the only thing. But other thing too was I was like, man, is this man throwing up, standing up? Like,
Yeah, I think so. Which
bro, I
I,
said,
what
yo, who does this?
sometimes
Might have
when you
done that
can't,
before.
you don't know it's like you just can't get there in time.
I mean, I get
That's
that,
happened
but
to me
like, bro,
before.
you
I
feet
didn't
are
did that
feet are
before.
planted though. Like, hey, they're like his knees weren't even bent. Like, you ain't even trying to aim.
Okay, I see what you're
That's why I was
saying.
looking. I was like, bro, what kind of weird stand up and just throw up? You just lean down. Like, I don't know. It was, threw me off a little
It
bit.
it was Huel.
Huel, okay,
Yep.
okay,
Huel was his name.
all right. But yeah, that's the part that got me in. The guy being nice, and obviously they set it up where you knew something was going to go down with him. But man, shout out to Hugo, man.
Right, man. And I love the fact that they made him like very likable.
Yeah.
It takes a lot for somebody to throw up in front of you and didn't take the
You
proper
to be like, clean
measures.
it up.
Yeah, and didn't take the proper measures to make sure that there was minimal cleanup, and you still to be like, man, don't even worry about it, bro. I got you. That's more than this is my job. That's like I fuck with you, Mr. White. Like I
Facts.
got you. Don't worry about it.
I guess he is dying.
What,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But nobody, I
What I
don't
would
even know if the
say,
school knows that.
And the way the principal was reacting, I think she knew.
Maybe some kind of thing. I know later in the episode, Walt tells Skylar they're getting a substitute teacher, but I think that's just a lie so he can go out and cook. But either way, go ahead, Spike Lee. What was you about to say?
I think this is another one of those things that Vince did well in this show, but then learned to perfect in Better Call Saul. Is like no stone goes unturned, in the sense of you think this is a throwaway scene, but the shit on the board matters. The little meeting with Hugo matters. Like it all comes to play at some point in time. And I think these are the very like these are the baby steps. And then if you watch Saul, you see how these have developed throughout the years in his other series as like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're going all the way back to something from whatever season one, episode two, and it's just now coming out in season four. But I think that's what I noticed in my third rewatch of this is like the stuff that he plants around and the way that everything is used is crazy.
That's a great point. And there's a lot of that this episode. You mentioned
Facts.
earlier, Spike, that this is the episode where people are starting to put things together. And the thing I like about it is it's not surface, right? It's one of those things you don't really pay attention until you watch it a second time. Like, oh, like the poker scene. Poker scene really doesn't mean anything until you watch it again and you realize it has so much symbolism
Mm-hmm.
for the relationship between Hank and Walt and everything else as it goes along. So yeah. Um, any other comments before I move on to the next scene?
It just shows as close as Hugo was to Walt. That's how close it was to Walt being caught from one
Mm,
criminal to the next, so to speak.
I like
Even
that.
though I don't look at Hugo as a criminal, but in the way the context in which the show presents it, you see them two in the mirror, and it's like that's how close of you being caught, as close as y'all two are next to each other. So
That's some great symbolism as well. I like that. Um, LeVar Ball. Remember when LeVar Ball said he could beat Michael Jordan and was dead ass serious about it? That's Rio.
okay, hey, listen,
Yeah, that would have been the easier way to say it. Yeah, he dead ass serious. Yeah. Um, we go to a support group, and Skylar is describing her feelings as Walt is going through chemo. She talks to Walt, and she says she doesn't feel like he wants her around, and he doesn't let her in. And she also mentioned that he's coming home late and she has no idea where he is. And Walt Jr. chimes in and he agrees. The group lead asks Walt to share if there's anything else that he's holding back from his family. And Walt mentions, hey, I just like to be alone at times. Nothing to do with you. It feels better not to talk to anyone about anything, which, man, can I relate to that? Sometimes it's nice to just be
Facts.
quiet. Just let me be quiet. You don't say anything. Let's sit in this peace. The group lead actually makes a great point, which I agree with. Like for her doing her job, this is a great suggestion. She mentioned, "Hey, it might help if you at least explain to your family what it is you're doing when you're by yourself. Sure, that's a good compromise. Sure, you can have your alone time, but let them in a little bit and let them know what it is that you're doing." And Walt, we see him kind of do what he does best. He lies. Technically, he makes it look like it's the truth, but we know it's not. So he said he goes for walks and he's in nature. He looks at the cacti and it's therapeutic. And he is in nature and he there is cacti around, but it's not for walks and it's not for therapy. It is to cook meth. It's not the way he explains it, which is a common theme for Walt. It's never exactly what it is that you say. What did y'all think about this group session and Skylar voicing her opinion about the way Walt is going about his chemotherapy?
Skylar is going through and picking up the breadcrumbs. Like
Hmm.
she's like slowly but surely, she building a case in her head. She don't know what it is yet, but she know it's something that ain't cancer. And that was cold to throw her off the scent with the cancer in the previous episode. But Skylar like a hound. She like a greyhound or whatever the dog that hunt the best is. That's
Hmm.
what she is. Cause she did two interesting things here. One is you mentioned it, Rich. Walt's a liar. She know he a liar. She married to the man. She know him. What she trying to figure out is he gonna lie to me in front of all of these people? And you know your partner when you with somebody when they start talking about the trees and nature and shit, and you ain't never heard them talk about the trees and nature. Like, yeah, you might have gotten cancer, but you ain't no completely new person, nigga. So I think this was just Skylar building her case up, but it's very subtle. If you looking at this for the first time and the first time through when we talking about Breaking Bad, it's like, okay, she just Skylar just being a bitch like we think Skylar is. But no, she's just building her case up. And again, it makes it make sense when she makes the accusation on Walt, what looked like it just came out of the blue. All of these episodes matter into that.
Mm. Yeah, I get where the therapist is coming from, but I kind of feel like that's kind of the point. Like, oh, make them feel better if they knew what you were doing. I'm having me time. I'm doing me. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing me. Like when I
You
seen this,
can't say that though.
I know, but
You
I still
you you a married man, you know you can't say
I
that.
know
Stop
that.
presenting.
Wait,
Stop.
hold
Stop
on.
making it. Well, stop making the people feel like you can do that when you're married.
I depend on how long you've been. At this stage, how long they've been? Yeah, you can.
Really?
I'm getting close to that too. So yeah. So
Oh,
just to disrupt that whole statement, brother.
that wasn't a knock against you. It
No.
was more so.
I know what you
It
mean. No,
was
you're
more
right. You got
so
to play the
like I
game.
was
Like,
speaking towards marriage. Yeah.
now you're right. Though you got to play the game. I'm not coming back and I'm making the joke of people
Yeah.
that are married, but like, yeah, it's of course in the early stages of it, it's like yeah, make people feel better, but it's like bro, you got a whole 14, 15-year-old son. Your wife is in her what 40s. I mean, or 38. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, like get like he said, can you climb out of my ass just this once? And it's like you just don't leave no room from him. He's been so predictable his whole life. He's done everything by the book. The reason she's all on him, obviously, because we're dropped in the middle of it. All of a sudden, all of his behaviors and things are different because he's now going against the grain. But but still, it's like, bro, let this man. In the words of best man, it's like, man, go ahead, man. For tonight, man, gonna be a dog. Like, just let this man have this moment, bro. Like, whatever it is, as long as he's safe, he's got cancer, you still are making it about you. Like, that's the sick part of this whole thing for me. Is like you're still making it about you. I feel like you don't let
But
me in. I'm sick. In the words of
bro,
Denzel, sick, help, sick, help. What like? Fall. I'm sorry, bro. I just don't have the grace for it. Like, what?
I
Like,
understand what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with that. But we talked about this a little bit last week. In a way, it is happening to Skylar. Like this is her whole life and future at stake. You know what I mean? She's going about
oh,
it in
you
a way
yeah,
that we
yeah,
don't
it
like,
is.
but she's going about it in a way that we don't like. But, and I'm speaking as someone who's not married, but when you make that, choosing your spouse is one of the biggest decisions you can make.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if not the biggest, like who you're going to partner with, who you're going to spend your life with, make all these decisions. That goes for business, that goes for personal, that goes for family, all of that. That's your partner in crime. Like, if you lose that or have the risk of losing that, that is going to fuck. There's no way Skylar's just sitting back like, oh, Walt got cancer. Let's go ahead and just move on with life. Spike went through a whole episode last week where he mentioned, like, shot her some bail, which he said the only time it's going to happen. But hey, I'm doing the right thing. I'm helping you save you from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she just wants Walt to understand that this is affecting me as well. Like I know it's hard for you, but you've yet to ask me how am I dealing with the fact that my husband, for all intents and purposes, has a death sentence. Like that's not easy to cope with.
And
And I
she's
would just
pregnant
like a
too.
little bit, and I'm pregnant. I just want a
Yeah.
little bit more involvement in all of this. I
Yeah.
understand you got to do what you got to do. You don't want to talk. You want to get your alone time. I understand you're processing it. You're the one that's actually going through it.
Hmm.
However, I need you to check in on me too. I need you to check in on your son too. We're potentially looking at this as these might be the last moments, months, years that we get this time with you. And for you to be treating it like you're in your 20s and you plan on living until you're 90, I don't think that Skylar thinks that's fair to them. Even though Skylar has her ways, I wonder how much of it is us knowing Skylar and just giving her a tougher time versus being like, you know what, I can see that.
Yeah,
But doesn't it
you make a good
seem
point. Go ahead, Spike.
you do make a good point, but doesn't it seem disingenuous to like to the partner point that you made? Why isn't she able to sit and have a conversation with just Walt
Hmm.
and explain these things? Like she had the intervention last week because she
Right.
couldn't do it by herself. She had everybody there. Now you calling me out in front of all of these people, and you expecting me to tell you on a whim like what I've been doing? Why, like, bitch, like you said, I got cancer. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I'm dealing with this shit heavy. And you're right, Rich. He hasn't stopped to check on her on like how you're doing with this, but she ain't really gave him the opportunity to do it in a solo setting. She keep bringing this shit up around everybody else, which is part of his problem with it.
Hmm.
That's a great point. That's
It
a
is.
fantastic point. That's the one thing that Skylar would piss. That's what I think you just identified what pisses me off about Skylar the
Yeah.
most.
Yep.
You know what I
It's
mean?
like
Because we
a
are
show for her.
partners. Yeah,
Yeah, like come holler at me.
And Carmela would
yeah.
never.
Oh hell no, she get she scared.
Carmela
She gonna
would
get up.
never be
I know.
be at Sacrial's, not Sacrial's, but Vesuvio's, amongst the rest of the family, and use that moment to get something off on Tony. Never.
No,
Mm-mm. She. I don't mean to say it like this, but she know better.
Motto,
Like, I don't mean to say
motto.
it like that, but she know better.
Hey, don't make me make you an accessory after the fact.
Straight up, man. Straight up. Great points by both of y'all, man. Great points by both of you. We see Walter is in the RV cooking while Jesse is reading a nudie magazine on the outside. Walter stumbles out the RV. Jesse thinks he's inhaled some chemicals and has him sit down. Walter undoes his jumpsuit, and Jesse notices a dot and a mark on his chest and asks Walt, "When were you going to tell me?" Walt doesn't know what he means, and Jesse says, "You got cancer, don't you?" My aunt, he said aunt, we say aunt. Uh, his aunt had a similar dot on her chest to target the radiation. He's upset, very similar to Skylar. I'm upset because we're partners. You should have told me. That's not cool. All right. He tells Jesse that he's in 3A, stage 3A of the cancer, and Jesse responds that it's in your lymph nodes. Once again, Jesse's showing that he knows more than what it seems that he knows. His aunt lasted 7 months after Walt asked how long it was, and Jesse puts together that Walter is doing all of this for his family. He has the epiphany that this is why you want to break bad. This is why you out here in the middle of the nowhere with me, cooking all this meth, trying to grab this money, trying to get some bread before you check out. Walter says he can finish the batch, but then tells Jesse that he should do it, and Jesse gives him the advice that he should wear an ice pack during chemo to help with the hair loss. I specifically want to ask y'all thoughts, or excuse me, I want to ask y'all thoughts on the scene, but I specifically want to know what you thought about Jesse in this scene. Putting the pieces together, figuring out real quick that, oh, this is all starting to make sense. And I know about all this stuff you're going through. I haven't gone through it, but I've seen it up close firsthand. I know a little bit more. You should have told me, you should have said something, especially if we're going to be partners like this in this game.
It's these moments why we love Jesse. Because Jesse got heart. You know what I'm saying? Like he got heart. He ain't perfect. We've talked about some of I like how the brother put it, like the anti or loser hero in the series or whatever. Obviously, minus of Christopher Moltisanti, but like he has heart. Like and he's actually more intelligent than his led on. And actually, the interesting thing I found in this episode is that he cooked last episode with Badger, and then this episode, like Walt really thinks he's closer or better for the street. And well, we find out later in the episode that like maybe it's better the other way around.
Your mic shifted, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh, now it's it came undone.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's right. Jesse really was humanized in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
And it showed that he really looked at Walt as like not so much a mentor, but a partner. Like we doing business together. You ain't gonna tell me that you got cancer, that you might be finna die. I
Yeah.
seen my aunt go through this, so he is kind of shell shocked from that. Well, we ain't got there yet, but I definitely want to remember this scene when we get to the scene with Walt coming to defend Jesse, because I think there are two different motivations here. I think that Jesse's motivation is pure. I
Yeah.
think that he really is genuinely concerned about Mr. White. I don't get the same thing from Walt,
No.
and we'll see that throughout the series, but especially this episode.
Interesting. I think Jesse is concerned because he met the goat of meth. Like this isn't if this was Badger, it'd just be like, ah, damn, that's messed up. I think he looks at Walt as someone who has the talent to get him out of his situation and to really change his life. No different than you see some neighborhoods where you have somebody who's really good at sports. So say basketball, football, whatever. The neighborhood will wrap their arms around him and protect him, right? And they'll say, "Nah, you the one. You the chosen one. Get out of here. You shouldn't be out here. Go home. You know what I'm saying? You got a bigger future than this." Um, I think that's how Jesse kind of looks at Walt. I could be wrong, but I just think he looks at him like, "Yo, I've never met anyone who could cook like you. Working with you is going to change my life for the better. Like, there's no way we can't make all types of money and be the biggest dealers that Albuquerque or this part of the country has ever seen because your product is so pure." I don't know. What are y'all thoughts on that? I just thought about that in
I
real
don't think
time
so,
when Spike
bro.
said it. You think
Yeah,
it's
I
more?
say
You think he cares
I
about him
don't
as a
agree with
person?
you.
You think he cares about him
I
as a
Yeah,
do.
person?
I do.
Okay.
You got to think
I
he
do.
has family issues. You know what I'm saying? Jesse has family issues.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And they have a trauma bond. You know what I'm saying? With what happened with Crazy Eight and all that. There is a connection. There's this love hate thing. Like I pulled up, your wife pulled up on me. I pulled up on you at the pool. You know that you don't want. We ain't doing business no more. And you come back, we're doing business, and like now we're working together. So there is something there. I mean, of course, we got history from being in your class. So I think it's something else. I mean I think he definitely knows how great Walt is at cooking, but I don't think that he thinks that he's going in with that mindset. I don't know. I just don't. I don't even think he has that type of foresight, to be honest. But Walt definitely different when we get to the later scene that Spike was alluding to.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah, I want to respectfully disagree with you too, Rich, in the sense of I don't think that Jesse sees that far ahead. Like he
Hmm.
respects how good Walt is, but he think he can do it too, as we seen just the last episode. He think
Yeah.
that
Fair.
I can put a solid cook, even though we know his standard has raised based off the last episode and the cooks he threw away. He wouldn't have never done that. I think he respects his game, but I don't think he look at him as like the OG. And I'm blessed to have this opportunity. Not yet, anyway. It
Yeah.
may come later on down the line. I just think that he's compassionate with Walt as a person. Like man, like because he probably looking. So it's a good point that you bring up because some people look at Walt and they make fun of him or he's disregarded like Hank.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse is looking at him because they're losers alike. It's like, damn, bro, like you've been like a nerd since high school. Like, look at you, dude. And then
Outcast.
you got cancer. Yeah, like, come on, bro. I done seen your son. Your wife is crazy. Like, I feel sorry for you, bro.
Mm.
And now you got like I think he's genuinely sympathetic of Walt's situation, like one of the few people
Mm-hmm.
in this whole world that is.
Yeah.
Great points by both of you. I
Like
agree.
you were
I
my
agree with both of
teacher.
you.
Like how did it come?
Yeah.
How did it come to this?
You out here cooking meth? Like,
Like you
God
like dang, and then
damn,
you find
bro.
out he dying. So you give up all your morals, at least in his mindset, from being a science teacher, chemist teacher, to like selling drugs because you're about to die. Like that's a lot to take in for Jesse to
Facts.
consider. Like, dang, this is Mr. White. You know what I mean?
And I think that's why it's a genuine sympathy there because to the series title Breaking Bad, Jesse hasn't broken bad. I still stand my sentiments that Walt broke bad earlier in this season, like damn the first episode. So Jesse is still looking. It's like I'm just living my life. It just so happened, like you just said it perfectly. But like, how you fall into my world, bro? I've been out here, like I just got better meth now, but I've been out here in these little spaces, getting my little packs off, messing with the little prostitutes, and like now you taught me like 5 years ago,
That's
bro. Like damn, it's fucked up.
that's a great point. I think any of us three, and everybody listening, especially if you have a certain age, if your man's came to you today and said, "Yo, I'm about to start selling drugs," somebody start cooking meth, you'd be like, "What the fuck?" Like, that's some shit you do when you don't just pick up at 50 and decide you about to be a drug dealer. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't work like that. Like you would be
Perfect
stunned if
point.
your man's came up to you and said that. So great
Perfect
point by
point.
both of you. I always say, man, you learn a lot more when you're wrong than when you're right.
That's true.
So I agree with both of you. I agree with both of you on that one. Real quick scene: Gomez brings Hank some evidence. It's the mask that we saw in the earlier episode from the original Cook session. Remember, we did see that they left it there after the big shootout and the things with Crazy Eight and Emilio. The lab actually determined that it came from the high school where Walt works. Very quick scene. I know we'll talk about that in a later scene once we get some inventory checks. But I'll move on to the next one.
Real
We get
quick
a
though on this
mindset.
scene.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why was Gomi playing it like that? Why was Gomi acting like he knew what it said? But then when he asked him, like he gave this stone cold look when he was like, "Yeah, here go the results," shaking his head like he knew something. Or maybe I'm just reading it wrong. Y'all didn't see it the same way.
Yeah, like the way his eyebrows look like yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he was
kind of
looking
like
like, yeah, yeah, I got something in there. But then when he told him, he was like, "Oh, what you got?" Like he didn't know.
it's the way the actor played it. It's the way the actor played it, or it's the take that they chose.
It's a Gomez thing. It's just
Yeah, I think
Gomez,
it's the way
man.
he played it. He played it, and they chose the wrong take on his
Gotcha.
on his shot.
Cool.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
As we move on in the episode, we get a montage of Jesse getting to work,
Trapping.
dealing and smoking the batch of meth. He meets Walt back at the cook spot with a prepaid cell phone and gives him 26 big ones. Walter asks, "Is that's all
Pause.
26,000?" Mhm. Hey, I'm just using what Jesse said, 26 big ones.
Fair.
Uh, Walter asks if that's all 26,000. Jesse says, "That's 2,600, my man." I wish it was 26,000, which I thought was very interesting that Walt, once again, just tells you how far removed he is from this world. You can't, there's a big difference between 26,000 in cash and 2,600 in cash. And Walt can't even eyeball that, like 2,600. And um, he said he sold an ounce in a night. Like, I've been selling all night. I sold an ounce. And Walt wants to know why you just don't sell it the pound all at once. To which Jesse says, "I ain't Scarface, bruh. That's not how this works."
Hmm.
Walt said that money is unacceptable. It's not worth the risk of breaking the law. Tells Jesse that he knows a lack of motivation when he sees it, and they need to wholesale. Jesse said he knew a guy, but Walt killed him. Walt asked who took Crazy Eight's place, and he said, we hear the name for the first time, Tuco. Once again, Tuco Salamanca, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul legend, just one of those characters that you won't forget. Walt tells Jesse that he needs to pull up on Crazy Eight and make a deal, or excuse me, on Tuco and make a deal, which goes to the point of Walt not knowing anything about selling drugs. Jesse gives him a lesson and says, "Hey, Tuco was upper level. Guys like that don't just do business with people they don't know. There has to be a connection. There has to be an introduction. There has to be a meeting. He needs to check us out to make sure that this is legit. We're talking about pounds of crystal meth, things that will land you in jail for a very long time. Somebody like Tuco is not just going to take a meeting with us if he doesn't know us, right?" Walt snaps at Jesse and tells him to grow some fucking balls. I want to know what y'all think about this scene, and I also want to know, why does Walt have this kind of smoke for Jesse, super aggressive, but no smoke for Walt Jr., no smoke for Hank, no smoke for Elliot, when they do similar things to kind of piss Walt off as well.
Because Jesse's getting the real him.
Jesse
No,
getting the real Walt.
nobody else gets the real Walt. So he, he's
Interesting.
he's playing who he's playing like once he made the decision, say I'm going to start making decisions for myself after the intervention. Jesse's the only person that actually sees that what that is. They don't even see that. He's because remember he said I'm not doing the treatment. That was him trying to make the decision on his own. But then that morning when she was doing dishes, he came back and said, "Okay, all right, babe, I'm gonna go ahead and do the treatment." So like, only person that's really seeing the real version of Walt is Jesse. So I feel like he's giving it up because I'm not that he ain't got nothing to lose, but it's like this is really who I am. This is really how I feel. Where he can't do this at school, where he can't do this with Hank or his wife or his son, where he feels he can't do this, he does this with Jesse because it's like I don't really have no ties to you in no relationship. So
I feel like that actually that actually helps Spike lose point of what he's been saying all season. That Walt's broken bad from the early. If this is the real Walt and Jesse gets to see that, which I agree with you once you say it like that, I think that kind of confirms what Spike's been saying. Walt been not shit. What you got to say, Spike?
That's a good point, Mo. Jesse understands that the only person, I mean, excuse me, Walt understands the only person that he can influence in this whole show is Jesse. He's the only one where he feel like he got influence over from either the teacher student dynamic. Skylar, he can't influence there. He ain't influencing Hank. Damn sure not Marie. Not even Walt Jr. Like he's not able to assert the type of dominance where he can influence any of those people's decisions, but he think he can with Jesse.
yeah,
One, because a lot of the stuff that you said, Mo, and two, just because this is where I'm at with you. I've always held this position over you. And he slick see something in Jesse. He just don't know how to bring it out of him. He ain't the right mentor to have.
yeah,
But he's looking at Jesse like, I can tell you what to do. You should be listening to me. If Hank don't listen to me, Marie don't listen to me, Walt Jr. don't listen to me, you should definitely be listening to me because of some of what you said as well, Mo. I can make your life better if you just pay attention to me. But what I will say in this scene specifically, a lot of what you were saying earlier, Mo, applies here. Walt don't understand how selling drugs works, and that's interesting to watch in this scene. This is one of the scenes that drew me into this series because Walt got this thing in his head. Well, like if I just cook this good product and I send you out on the streets in Albuquerque, nonetheless, with a pound of meth, that you're gonna sell the whole pound in a night. That's some of the most unfathomable shit that you could ever think of,
yeah,
bro. That's insane, especially for a nigga like Jesse. If it was a nigga like Crazy Eight or something like that, then you might have a chance of getting that off.
yeah,
Because he gonna go call somebody who got some connections or whatever. But Jesse going piece to piece. That's all he can do. That's the
yeah.
only place that he can get the motion at. So it's insane that where Walt thought they were and who he thought Jesse was on the street versus what's actually has to happen and what's more realistic. Like I love that Walt had this like thing. Well, I'm gonna cook a pound a day and we cooking a pound tomorrow. Like nigga, who are you talking to?
Hey, you got to remember too. This man put $1,900 on that check for his little joint. So
And we should
2,600 coming back and actually cut in half. And say now you actually got 13.
Minus the 25
but
for the
look
phone.
though,
Hey,
that's what's
listen.
so beautiful. That's what's so
Hey,
beautiful about this scene because
I kind of feel it,
Walt
bro.
not wrong. He not wrong. Like nigga, what? You been out here peace like
Hey, listen to me.
it's like if somebody told you like, yeah, I get that shit gone, bro, and you pull up on them the next day, and it's like, here go $1,200. And you like, what?
Do you know what I just did?
1,200?
That's the that's
Who
a
are you
human
talking
equivalent.
to?
That's a human equivalent. Most people work 40 hours a week. It's like the civilian equivalent of working 80 hours a week and getting your check, and it's damn near the same. Like, what the? Hold on. Somebody owe me some
Right.
answers.
Hey,
Like,
listen.
somebody got me fucked
Or
up.
somebody they didn't give you everything you're supposed to get on your check and say, oh, we put the difference on
Put
your
it on
next
the
check.
next
Oh
one.
no, you won't.
You gonna
No,
put it on the next one? No,
no,
ain't gonna
no,
be
you
no
won't.
next one, buddy.
And that definitely happened,
Yeah.
and I definitely said, no, we're not doing that. And they cut me a physical check, and I went and cashed it on my lunch break. Like,
They
nah.
tell you to wait till Monday.
Oh
They
shit.
tried all that, like tried to be like, okay, we'll wait on there. I said, no, I can't do that.
That was
I
just a
got.
callback to Walt. Some of them people wait
Yeah,
till
just wait till
okay,
Monday.
wait till Monday.
That's good. He's tapped in.
Yeah, that's funny, man. But yeah, all what y'all said. Plus, like this scene is great in the sense of, bro, like drug dealing don't work the way most civilians think it
This
works.
man, like, I could go back
Hey,
to the car wash.
I ain't gonna hold you though. I ain't gonna hold you. That is a great point because I love Jesse's reaction. Like, the fuck you
Who you
think this
talking to,
is? Like,
bro?
nigga,
I
I was
just
out
sold
here
an
all
account.
night selling an ounce. Like, nigga,
And I'm
I
gonna tell you
busted my
this.
ass.
I'm gonna tell you this. Jesse probably ain't never sold a zip in a
Nah,
night. He ain't
nah,
Yep.
bro.
never done that.
Nah, bro.
So he
Mm-hmm.
thinking he
Never.
coming back swagged up like, ah, yeah,
I
homie,
did
we,
that.
we got something going here. This
Yeah,
gonna
Man,
be
he
the
told
start of a beautiful friendship.
Jesse had a bounce in his step. That
he
nigga
did.
said 26,000. He said 26,000. Nigga, that's 2,600. The fuck you think this is?
And listen, that could
Hey,
have worked for Jesse though. That could have
Oh
worked.
shit,
That
man.
was
would have worked for Jesse.
that's what
This man
Jesse.
just went out
Yeah.
and sold the most drugs he's ever sold in his life in one night. And Walt
Mm-hmm.
looked at him like, man, why are you playing with me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, gotta
That
think.
shit hilarious. That's just hilarious,
It
man.
is,
Jesse
man.
ain't
It's like
never had no motion like this. This is hilarious, bro.
I'm dying over
Mm-hmm.
here. I'm dying literally with cancer. And you come back to me talking about here's 13.
Both of us
We out
right,
we
man.
out here in the desert. I'm dying, trying to cook and mix. I'm
And this nigga
dying over here,
Bro,
said,
bro.
1300 back.
hey, one of the
And a
realest shits
burner
ever.
phone. Look at a
Hey,
burner phone, bro. I ain't trying to talk to you, bro. We ain't
Bro,
got to call and talk
we ain't
about
even up
nothing,
like
bro.
that for a burner phone, dude.
Oh
nigga
shit.
said, hey,
Funny.
But
that nigga
again, that
said,
go to
this is
one point. Jesse had the best night of his life. He's like, we finna get the phones chatting. We finna get this shit cracking,
shit
nigga. Like,
up.
wow.
Yeah.
It's up. He said, nigga, hey, that nigga Wall said, this is unacceptable.
He hit it with the
This is
teacher terms.
unacceptable. Yeah, this is unacceptable. Right? And I feel him, like y'all said, man, this is not worth the juice ain't worth the squeeze right now. There's no way I'm
Facts.
about to be doing all this, lying to my family, coming home late for $1,300. Like that's not about to happen, bro.
My
I'm
brother's the
not about to
DA,
do
bro.
that.
Like,
Yeah, like and like I'm not out here selling nickel bags, some shit that can get me, put away for a little bit. This is on some. I'm cooking meth, pounds of it. I'll die in jail.
Jesus Christ. And you going out and selling 10 tenths.
man,
Like
that
this
that
nigga making $10. Like I got a pound of meth in my possession, and you making $10 transactions. Like that don't work, bro.
yeah, I feel it. I get it now. At first, I was like, "Dang, bro, you kind of going hard." But the more I think about it, I'm like, "Yeah, bro, he really like, bro, the risk for real, like, bro, my brother-in-law is
Oh.
Popo, bro. Like, it's that real. This he don't even know he ain't pulled up to the school yet. You know what I mean?
But again,
Hmm.
just to shoot Jesse some more bail, like you came to me, bro.
Yeah,
You killed the people that I would have sold this shit to, like you did. Like, yeah, it's where we at with it. So this is a good
that's true.
scene,
That's
man.
That's true.
hilarious. That's hilarious.
That's true.
Very, 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 very small scene of Walt going back to chemo, writing another check. Needs to wait till Monday again. And then we see Walt back at school and he's vomiting. Once again, Hugo was there to help, offers him a stick of gum. Once again, going out of their way to show us Hugo's a good guy, big heart, cares about Walt. And then Hank shows up to visit Walt and asks him about the mask after he mentions that Walt's colleague has an ass like an onion, makes him want to cry. Um, but he explains to Hank, like, or excuse me, he explains to Walt, hey, I'm here for business because we found this mask and realized it came from your school. Walt also learns that Crazy Eight is a snitch because he mentioned, hey, it was found by our snitch's car, and we don't know where the body is, but we think he is out of here. Hank wants to do an inventory check and realizes a lot of stuff is missing. He knows what the equipment is and what it does because once again he's DEA. He sees it all the time, especially in Albuquerque where they cook meth. Shout out to Milton, houses blowing up and shit. Walt's phone rings and he doesn't want to answer, but Hank insists. It's Jesse. He tells Walt that Skinny Pete has an in with Tuco because they spent time in the same cell block. He tells Walt that he doesn't want to get him in, or excuse me, Hank tells Walt that he doesn't want to get him in hot water, but you need to do a better job of watching your turf. And you wouldn't want anyone to wonder about you, would you? And then he gives a laugh that suggests that there's no way anybody will really wonder about you because there's
Mm-hmm.
no way you could be a criminal and pull this off.
Mm-hmm.
Fellas, Hank pulling up at the job unannounced to do an inventory search, especially when Walt knows he's guilty. What did y'all think about this scene, and what did you think about Jesse getting to connect to Walter's suggestion to find a way in with Tuco?
You could tell that to the Jesse point, Walsh's speech kind of motivated him. So he did what he was supposed to do. He went out, started shaking hands, kissing babies, and trying to figure out how he can get in touch with Tuco. Like once your business partner tell you, hey man, that's what we need, and that's your operation of it, like you go out and you try to get it done. So I respect that out of Walt. Two, is this principal the best looking woman in the Breaking Bad whole series? I'll let you guys ponder upon that. And three, is Hank a good cop or does he suck at policing? Because or does he three the third option is just like we talked about in the previous episode. I think so little of Walt that this is so out of his like stratosphere that I ain't even gonna consider him. But I'm sitting there here and I'm going through this inventory and all the things to cook meth are missing. And I think that Walt is that aloof to let somebody come in here and steal it. And we can't
This
find the person that stole it. Like this is interesting. And it makes me wonder, did he start to have a little inkling as a good cop that like so Walt got something going on?
so watching the scene, I immediately was thinking to myself, like, Hank, you gotta follow up on this. Like you can't let this slide and underestimate Walt. I get it and I understand it, but ironically, with Walt being a chemist, I think I might have said this before in one of the earlier episodes. Scientists, their whole, if you watch Oppenheimer and stuff like that, you know that a scientist's job is to poke holes in something. It's not about being right, it's about finding ways that we could be wrong, right? And I feel like police work is the same thing. I think to be a good policeman, you really need to dig into the things that you don't think are obvious. Of course, it's not obvious that Walt could do it. That probably gives me more reason to dig into it a little bit more, right? Because you never know what you'll unturn or find if you turn over those stones. And you have enough probable cause to not necessarily accuse my brother-in-law, but to maybe quietly dig through a few more things to see what's what. Maybe I go around to the school. Maybe I go back to the principal's office and ask a couple questions, see if the stories align, see who all are the same people who have access, the same people that Walt told me. Who else might have a key? Who else could be possibly doing this? Let me do a little bit of info on the students. Let me see if they got some parents that's on some bullshit. Because maybe it's not a student. Maybe their parents put them up to it. There's all types of things you can dig into because we have the smoking gun. I know for a fact that this came from this school. That's enough to kind of dig into this a little bit more and find out more answers.
And
Right? That
one
is
more
my
mission.
job. Yeah, and it's not just the mask. There's a ton of shit missing. He said you
Right.
let some meth monkeys raid your lab. You got to protect your turf. Bruh, if you know that the mask found by your snitch's car, where you also found 100% perfect meth, and it leads back to your brother-in-law, you should be able to stop and say, you know what? I need a task force, not a task force maybe, but I need at least a small team. I'm going back to the office, Operation Icebreaker, and I'm getting a group of 3 people and say, your job for the next 2 weeks is to go to that school every single day and interview everybody you can to get information on how something like this could happen. We got to get some answers. This is our only lead at this point.
Mhm.
If he had been thinking too, you're right in what you say. He could have went and talked to Skylar. And everything that she said in that AA meeting, she would have told him. His antennas would have went up. I'm like, well, what the fuck is Walt at? All hours of the night, like just not wanting to come home all of a sudden. Like it would have been a simple pull up. Hey, how are things going? And he would have got
It,
all the information that he needed.
but it could be on the same like how they misinterpreted that Walt Jr. was smoking weed. So it could have even then
Oh,
if they took that route when she was like, no, not Walt Jr., Walt. But how it could be misinterpreted, like what she's saying, maybe that could have been a positive if they took that route. I mean, obviously they didn't because it stretches the series out. But
mhm.
yeah, I think it's like he just don't respect Walt enough to think that he got that dog in him to cook. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I don't like, and I know we're not there when we get to the Hugo. It's like they kind of sold this up pretty quickly, and it's like a few episodes ago, Hank said there's a new kingpin in town, based off of the, you know what I mean, based on and then, like the evidences that they had for Hugo was just so flimsy. It felt cheap to me. I'm sorry. I
I,
mean, maybe they'll end up releasing him later because they don't got nothing on him, but it felt cheap.
I,
So
I think another big part of this is we see Hank is that old school cowboy type of cop,
Mhm.
right? And I think Hank lives in a world where criminals look like criminals. We see him say in this episode to Walt, "You wouldn't know a criminal if you saw him." I think Hank doesn't even take Walter serious. We obviously know he doesn't take him serious as a person or a criminal, but also just you're not what I'm used to seeing when I bust up these houses and find these dealers and these cooks. Right? I don't see Walter Whites. Like that doesn't exist in my world. So you're so far removed from even being a suspect because I've arrested hundreds of people and none of them have ever looked like you. On the flip side, the one thing I didn't say when I mentioned it earlier was
Hmm.
Hank, you have the information of knowing that your brother is a chemist who was a part of a Nobel Peace winning prize. If anybody in this city could have made this, it's probably your chemist brother-in-law. Once again, do you look like a criminal that I've arrested and that I've seen and been a part of this? No. But that's at least worth looking into, right? It's at least worth looking into. And we see throughout this entire series Hank has his suspicions, and every single time, Walt kind of laughs it off, and they
Got
go on
me.
about their business until you got me. So yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot of things play into it. And going back to the original question Spike Lee asked, and I mentioned this a couple episodes ago. I don't know how good of a cop Hank is. He's good for what he knows, but he's not a good investigator. He's a good cop, but he's not a good investigator.
Hmm. Until after the accident.
Yeah, yeah, damn,
Yeah.
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 Anything else
Oh,
about
and
this
I
scene?
think I think he, I not only do I think he not respect him as a man, he don't even respect him as like a chemist. I think he looks at that like this just nerd shit. I don't even think you would have the audacity to cook meth, even if I thought you were really great at being a scientist or anything of that nature. Because he's like obviously more stud, like more masculine, more what I mean. He's that jock type of. He don't even respect the science. You know what I mean? So yeah, but that's it.
Damn, that's a good point. And there's something that he starts doing later to well, yeah, there's something that hobby that he picked up later speaks to your point. He didn't understand how it was to be like very meticulous about stuff until he found that random ass hobby that he had, and that's what helped him figure out what he figured out.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Any other comments on this scene before we move on? All right, let's go ahead and keep moving. Jesse and Skinny Pete. What a fucking duo. It's like Spike and Mo. Jesse and Skinny Pete go to Tuco's office after a rigorous entry process.
Whoa.
Skinny Pete confirms that him and Tuco are tight like two nuts in a ball sack. They are not, in fact, tight. Tuco takes the crystal that Jesse brings and makes Jesse take a bump. He then takes his own bump and is overly excited and loves the product. He asks Jesse where he got it, and Jesse said he cooked it. He has a partner, but hey, I was part of making this. Uh, Tigo said, you know what? We got a deal. Didn't even hear the terms. He didn't hear the terms because he had no intention of honoring the terms. Motherfucker like Jesse come in with all this pure crystal. Oh, I am taking this. Um, Jesse wants 35K for the pound, and Tuco said this is a consignment. I'm good for the money. Jesse's upset, turns around and look at Skinny Pete. I thought you said this was cool. Pete says Tuco is good for it, and Tuco said, I don't need your punk ass to vouch for me. Tuco takes out a bag of money and then proceeds to beat Jesse with the bag of money. And he said, nobody moves crystal in South Valley but me, bitch. This is our first time meeting Tuco in the flesh. What were your first impressions of Tuco Salamanca?
Oh man, this actor did an excellent job. It sucked that he, it's not a spoiler, but it sucked that he ended up he didn't continue the role because it was just too intense for him. Like we'll get into that obviously later down the road, but he was like such a wild card, and he was so. I was like, this is why I was like, man, I believe this is who this dude is. And this is coming off of, ain't coming off of, but I harken back to his role in Training Day. Just like, have you ever had your shit pushed in like that? He was just like a
Hmm.
wild card on there. So, seeing this right here, it was just like, man, he was just like, he was out of there, bro, and he was very scary. I was very intimidated. So yeah, he did a great job, but like the way he did Jesse was crazy work. But that's a given, you know what I mean?
Beat his ass with a bag of money. Shit was wild.
That was
Spike
so
Lee.
disrespectful.
Spike Lee, what's your first thoughts of Tuco?
I wondered how long this dude was gonna stay around. To your point, Mo, I was like, this is a very high energy, high risk, high reward character, and it ain't nobody else like this in this world. So how he finna fit in here with somebody like Walt? How he finna fit in here with somebody like Jesse? Great introduction. Tuco better than me. I wouldn't even never talk to Jesse because I feel like he would have been the police. It's like I don't know, like Stinky Pete or whatever that his name is. He would have never been able to get a hold of me if I'm Tuco. Like there's no way we setting up a meeting. I don't care what crystal your man's got. Like none of that happens. Like I ain't even talking to nobody associated with Stinky Pete.
This
Skinny
man
Pete.
called him Stinky Pete. I like that better. Stinky Pete is better.
He looked like a
He
stinky
definitely
motherfucker.
stank.
He
Stanky
looked
mother.
like he looked like a Stinky
Your
Pete.
Got the
clothes, your clothes look worn in.
he got the
Yeah, it looked
Soldier Boy
worn in.
headband on for 3 interviews, dude.
So
Hey,
yeah,
and
like,
had the
I wouldn't.
nerve, had the nerve to pull up talking about something. I'm Stinky Pete. Like, don't nobody give a fuck, bro. What the fuck is
And
that?
then and look, and then when they let him in, he said, "You know what's going on?" I'm like, man, listen, bro. What is you talking to? But
Stinky
yeah, I thought
Pete.
this was interesting. I was very interested to see after this ass whooping, Jesse being out here in the wild, how it was gonna go down with him and Walt and what happens from here. So yeah, this is one of those episodes where it puts that hook in you and you're like, okay, now I'm invested.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. Did you? I know the dude that was working the door had to black him out, man. Uh, this whole scene, all of this. Jesse made a comment like, "Hey, man, we can bounce, bro. This
We really
ain't
cool.
we really cool, man." And I would have, if I was in that situation, I'd been like, you know what? It's way too much bullshit going on here for me. That's before I even meet Tuco. From the outside looking in, trying to get in this bitch, I'm like, nah, man, I'm cool. And
Yeah.
that goes to show what thinking about this in real time. I'm thinking of Jesse's motivation, and maybe it's because Jesse doesn't know any better. But Spike, you spent a lot of time last week talking about people like Badger or the reason why you go to jail.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be hard to think that Jesse doesn't see. He couldn't see it in Badger, so why would he see it in Skinny Pete? So I'm thinking it as well
Skinny
too.
Pete
Like
is the
there's,
reason these niggas like you get killed. Like Badger
yeah,
gonna get you in jail. He'll get you like Skinny Pete will get you killed.
yeah, and I'm just wondering
That's
why
the difference
Jesse
in those
doesn't.
two. And Jesse kind of seen it, but he just again, Skinny Pete probably has that aura or whatever it may be, where Jesse may respect him a little bit more than he do your man's.
How
So
much do
he
you think
looking at
it?
him like,
Just
what's
real
that?
quick, how much do you think was Walt and Jesse's head at that point? Walt's going
That
off
was
talking
part
about we
of
need
it.
to wholesale. I know a
Walt,
lack of motivation when I see it. Was he trying to prove to Walt like, man, fuck you, I can get shit done too?
yes, absolutely. That was a part of it too. And I think he looked at Skinny Pete as like, I wouldn't say an OG, but it's somebody that he respect more than Badger. He think he Badger OG. But he looking
Mm.
at a nigga like Skinny Pete and like he done been to jail. Skinny Pete putting the gas on it. Yeah, I know Tuco, man. We was in the same center. That's my man's and all of this. So Jesse looking at it like, okay, he might be legit. Like it might be something. And then he get there and see how they treat him. It's like, nah, bruh. We can really pull up. We can pull up out of here, like you said. But at that point, it's too late.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right, man. We gonna move along. I thought there was some symbolism in this scene. The DEA rolls up to the high school to arrest Hugo as Hugo is raising the American flag. Once again, something about the freedom that the flag is supposed to represent and the stereotypes and discrimination that Hugo was faced with while he's also raising this flag. Walt and Walt Jr. come outside to see Hugo getting arrested. Very quick scene. I don't know if you have anything to say or if you want to save most of it for the poker game when they discussed Hugo's arrest.
We saw this happening. I feel like
Yeah,
even first watch, I feel like I saw this playing out.
bet, bet. We go to the next scene where Walt is home and he calls Jesse with no answer. Skylar calls him back in the living room for the poker game that is being played. And this ties into the title of the episode, Handful of Nothing. Walt Jr. asks Uncle Hank why they arrested Hugo. And Hank says they ran a background check. Hugo has a record. He has a key. He fits the profile. And he had a big old blunt in his truck. Turns out that Hugo is a pothead. Going back to the point I made a few episodes back, this is 2008. The way they look at weed is insane, especially when your town is known for meth and you looking down on weed.
Weed,
That's
exactly.
crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Skyler, passing judgment, can't believe something like that would slip through the cracks. Ironic, because Walt makes a whole series of slipping through the cracks. Walt says Hugo doesn't strike him as a thief, and Hank says that he wouldn't know a criminal if he saw it. Hank asks what will happen to Hugo, and he says he'll lose his job, do a couple months of counting, nothing he's not used to, and asks Walt, once again, symbolism, you gonna man up or puss out? Hank throws his cards in after telling Walt that he's a bad liar, and Marie shows the card and mentions that Walt had a handful of nothing. Once again, shout out to Cool Hand Luke. Also, for those who don't know, for those who don't play poker, there are some casinos that will kick your ass out and ban you from a poker table if you show the cards after the hand is over. Like what Marie did is like a big no no. Like all that shit. And I know it's a family game, so it's probably not that big of a deal. But if that was at a casino, all hell might have broken loose. You don't do that. That's like terrible etiquette. Not just on a surface level, but once again, there are casinos that will ban you and kick you out of their casino for doing shit like that. So once again, I just think that's just a symbolism of Marie doing what she wants. And if you look at that scene, you can hear people in the background like, "Well, what are you doing?" Because that's not common. That's just not good etiquette. But that's neither here nor there. What do we think about the scene of the family playing poker, the symbolism of the cards, all the euphemisms of uh, Hank talking to Hank talking to Walt about him not being able to know what a criminal is, and really not the beginning, but the first time people might notice the cat and mouse between Hank and Walt. Like this is a scene where Walt just made his bones from lying to Hank about what hand he had and Hank underestimating Walt by saying you're a terrible liar. And we see this throughout the entire series where Hank's got him, but then he doesn't.
Yeah, you're right. This is like the cat and mouse really has begun here versus last episode saying I take care of your family. I definitely take care of your wife. Um it's interesting because I think this again leans to Spike's theory, where it's like he was like this because it's like you say I'm a terrible liar, bro. I'm a terrible liar. I'm a terrible bluffer. I've been bluffing this whole time. Like if we're going with Spike Lee's theory of like, yo, this is who he always was. He didn't just change at 50. Then it's like, bro, that's who I always was. You say I'm a terrible liar. I've been lying this whole time. I've been had these capabilities. I've been considering, I've been thinking about this, you know. So it was an interesting thing how easy he was to get that over. You know what I mean? And then for it works in his favor against the family because people don't think that highly of him. And that's where so kind of back to our Jesse conversation, they don't think highly of him, so he can play meek and low. But like Jesse thinks highly of him, so he can thrive and push on that energy. Man, do better. This is not acceptable. So he's able to play this two different ways. You know what I mean? Based on how people think of him. So yeah, I thought it was really interesting, and I love the cat and mouse between Walt and Hank.
And real quick before Spike Blue goes, also I didn't even mention the whole poker synopsis or analysis between remember the intervention.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Hank mentioned to Walt like you can either keep playing even when you behind, or you can change your luck. You know what I mean? Don't throw your cards in yet. So
Yeah,
all of that I think was symbolic. But Spike Lee, what you think?
A lot of good stuff said by you fellas. I'm in agreement in the cat and mouse game play between Walt and Hank as far as the poker hand. That was great, especially the reason for that story that you tell, Rich, in the sense where you can't show the hand because that gives away the whole strategy of poker. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you knew I was lying or if you knew I was telling the truth, then for the people that didn't know, if you
Mm-hmm.
knew I was lying or telling the truth, then the next hand you'll have an advantage over me trying to figure out if I'm lying or telling the truth. But
Yep.
it needed to be done in this scene for us to see how much of the underestimation of Walter White is going to play out throughout this series. And I don't even think it strikes. And again, it's where we can go back to asking, is Hank a good cop or a bad cop? That would have made me think about all of the meth shit.
Mm.
If I'm being like for real, that little poker, like, man, I mean, fool, like, on the one hand, I can dismiss it as his game night, like you said, his family. But on the other hand, did I really believe him? And if I did, he got a hell of a poker face that I now need to reconsider some of the shit that he been telling me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was a very interesting scene in that sense.
Which he should have been done it all along because that's what good cops
Facts.
do. That's what good cops
Facts.
do. Um,
That's why I hate McNulty.
shout out to McNulty, man. Uh, after Walt bluffs himself into a win against Hank, and Hank is surprised. We see a next scene where Walt is in the shower and hair is beginning to come out. He goes to the kitchen. He tries to call Jesse again, and Skinny Pete picks up, or Stinky Pete, whatever you want to call him.
Stinky
Walt
Pete.
arrives at the hospital to see Jesse laid up and asks Pete, "Tell me everything you know about Tuco." Any thoughts on this scene? I know it's just a brief moment, but any thoughts on this?
uh, Walt is looking at his investment going down the drain. You know what I mean? Like what Spike was alluding to earlier. He's seeing Jesse. Jesse did what he said, and he pushed him to do it. And I remember first time watching, think, oh, he cares for Jesse. He cares for him like a son or like a little brother. Oh, he cares for him. Now looking back, it's like, nah, that's my investment going down the drain. Like, bro, I'm putting a lot on the line to do this. So, yeah, he's getting the information because he know he got to take matters to his own hands to keep the operation going.
Fair.
Yes. To what you're saying, well, yes, absolutely. This is never a point of, is Jesse all right? Do I care if he's okay? That shit don't matter to Walt. I need him so I can cook meth.
Mm, very transactional. Very transactional. Um, Walt is back home. We see him looking in the mirror. Looks like it's morning time. Um, remember, he's just probably the next day after going to the hospital to see Jesse laid up. He's taking all these pills, which is something he mentioned earlier as to why he didn't want to necessarily go through treatment. But he's got a ton of different pills he's taking. You see patches in his hair, and then he decides to make the decision to shave his head. Debuts that look at the breakfast table. Skylar puts her hand over her mouth. She can't believe it. While Walt Jr. gives his stamp of approval. It might be the first compliment that Walt Jr. has given Walt Sr. in the entire season.
Facts.
Tells him that it's badass, and that's pretty much it. We just see the new look Walt with his shaved head. Any thoughts on this? Once again, just a brief scene, but
Did
the
y'all
birth of
know?
a. Mhm.
Did y'all know the piss was from the medication and the chemo?
Yeah, I put that together. I figured that's
Oh,
the
okay.
only thing it could have been from.
Yeah, I thought it was someone had to do him being sick.
What you mean?
What you mean?
I just thought it's like him throwing up. I just thought like, oh, he's pissing blood too. Like,
No, it was that.
Uh,
I think that's from chemo. I don't know if that was
yeah,
blood, but
yeah.
I
That
know the
that kind of
first.
color, I figured. Yeah, I figured that was just that.
I know as black people, we wouldn't be right to say, "Well, you need to drink some water."
That's
That's what,
definitely what it said. You need to drink some water, bro.
that's what your mama or grandmama would have told you back in the day.
hey
Because that's
man,
when I remember first time watching this and like really was like again wasn't all the way invested as second or third watches. When this first popped up, like, the first thing that popped in my head, like, damn, man, need to drink some water. But I ain't
Hmm.
put the medicine and the chemo in it, so I thought that was
Yeah,
funny.
that's the reason why I didn't say nothing. But you're 100% right. Anytime black folks see that, it's like, hold on, man. You just drink some water, do something, switch up your
yeah. I've been
regimen,
I've
all
been
Something
I've been
wrong.
that.
drinking
Something
too much. I've been
wrong.
drinking too much soda here lately.
Too much soda.
Hmm. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, no doubt.
it speaks to when you talk about the shaved head. It speaks to like again, like Skylar just being like so used to Walt being predictable. This was another unpredictable thing to her that she's like, bro, which it shouldn't be because he's a cancer patient. But like to her again,
Facts.
she just for whatever reason, I guess she just doesn't do well with change, and it really makes me curious. And I don't know if we can answer, but makes me curious about how Marie and Skylar's father was, because because her choosing a man 12 years older than her, I still am looking at him a little sideways, and it makes me interested in who what
12
was that.
years normal amongst adults.
Yeah, you got to relax.
Actually, 7 to 10. 12 years kind of it get kind
12
of
is up
weird.
there, bro. That's that's
It
It's
get
two
up
kind of
there.
weird at
two
12.
4 years of high school and some middle school in there.
Because 12 is what,
That's
38 to
three
50.
years. Yeah. So if you want to look at it, see, here's what people do. That's messed up. People look at it from the sense of they take their younger years, right? So people always do the whole when you were graduating high school, she was
Yeah,
6 years old, like which is I get it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I get that, but if you were in your 20s and this nigga, it's still something I wouldn't do. But if she was 22 and he was 34, yeah, if my man comes at me and says I'm dating this 22-year-old, I'm like, you all right? The first question I might want to know is, please tell me you met her at 22. Please don't tell me this some Tiger Kylie situation and you've been hanging around this girl waiting for her to be legal.
Crazy.
But at the same time, I'd be like, I would be like, you know what, do what you do, but I would be like, that's a little bit odd, bro. I don't know, like, especially if,
Lame.
and it makes me wonder. It makes me what it really does. It makes me wonder what Walt's dating history is like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, has Walt always been a dude that go after the younger chicks? Was this just one of those things where he was just smitten?
Hmm.
I don't know. Really don't care. It doesn't really matter. But I am curious in the
Yeah.
sense of it. I just loved. We talked about it, man. I would love to see how they like really connected and bonded. Like,
Hmm.
what did? Well, shit. I guess Walt was still a gray matter when they met.
Hmm.
So she probably saw the appeal of him, and something happened from there. Oh yeah. All right. Either way, my bad. What were you about
Yeah.
I
to say?
was looking for there's a metric that people use. It's like +7 -3 or something like that. Like 7 years old or 7 years young and -3. But I can't think of how it goes right now. As to where you won't never be out of your dating range if you apply
Mm,
that. But I don't know what it is right now.
got you. Anything else about the scene?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I did like that
Got you.
Walt Jr. complimented him though. Like, and I do think that the badass look worked in his favor in the last few scenes. If he pulled up with the patches, I don't know if you walk away with the bag. I'm gonna keep it a bean. Or maybe you do. Maybe you look even crazier in their eyes. You got the patches and they don't they don't know what's going on. Like what's what's going on with this man's head. You know what I mean? So
Nah, the baldy worked.
yeah, for sure.
Agree with you.
I ain't gonna even lie. When I found out it was a wig, I mean, or a little cap or whatever, I was like, damn. I thought he all the way committed to it, but
I don't know if we. Well, I didn't mention it, so I just want to get your thoughts on it real quick.
Damn, that's a cap.
So,
mhm.
huh?
It's a
I
cap,
said,
and then
damn,
they
that's a
do
cap.
special effects because the cap they do special effects to make it look like his head. So with the cap, his head looks bigger, putting it over his hair, and then they do special effects in post to make it like proportion to his head.
Mm.
Yeah,
I don't know. I know we didn't talk about it, so I want to bring this up now. Uh, but the actor who played Badger, he said in an interview that Badger was the one that was supposed to introduce Jesse to Tuco.
makes sense.
They actually, but they rewrote it because it was like they looked at it and said we can't find a way to really see how Badger and Tuco would cross paths. Like it
Yeah.
would make more sense for Skinny Pete to be the person that kind of gets in the dirt with that, um, versus Badger. In other words, Tuco would probably tell Badger to piss off. He tells Skinny Pete to piss off, but in a different way. I
Hmm.
don't know. I just thought that was pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
Badger would have got his ass beat next to Jesse.
Yeah, Badger would have definitely got his ass beat next to Jesse.
Yeah.
And we get to the final moments of the episode, man. The one that kind of changed the lore of Breaking Bad. If you weren't into the show, you're in now, and I just think it's beautiful that it's easy to take the cheap route, but they really built this up in 5 scenes. They showed us for 5 episodes Walt not being this, Walt not being that, Walt not getting any respect. And even the cold open, as we talked about, it was just shocking to see. Like you might have thought like whatever happened, Walt probably wasn't behind it because he ain't built like that, and you just wouldn't expect it. But we get Walt pulling up with what looks like Crystal to Tuco's office. Tells the guy on the outside that he's here to talk to Tuco, and he will not leave until he does. Gets a face to face with Tuco, where he tells him that his name is Heisenberg. Now, most people know this by now, but the name Heisenberg comes from a famous physicist called Werner Heisenberg. Very similar to Walt, he was a school teacher. He was a Nobel Prize winner for developing the theory of quantum mechanics, and he is known for the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, which states that one cannot precisely know both the exact location and the momentum of a particle at the same time. Also, Heisenberg died of cancer, which is numerous
Mm.
reasons as to why Walt probably chose him as his alias. So, just a little insight for those who don't know. If they just thought Heisenberg was some name out of a hat, there is a little bit of research to that, and it does fit with the character. But he tells Tuco his name's Heisenberg. Tuco offers a seat, which Walt says, "I'm not going to take a seat because I will not be here long." Walt wants 50,000 for the pound of meth that Tuco stole and the pain and suffering for Jesse. Tuco put out a cigarette on his tongue, which is obviously an intimidation factor. Also, was not in the script. That's something that the actor did on his own. Because if I see a nigga put a cigarette out on his tongue, you got it, bruh.
Yep.
I'm out. We'll find somebody else.
Yep.
He said, I already beat your mans up. I already robbed you. And you come back in here with more meth. To which Walt says, yeah, but there's one wrong thing. This isn't meth. And then he ends up throwing fulminated mercury. Once again, a callback to what we saw on the board in one of the opening scenes with the tweak of chemistry. Those are on the ground, causing an explosion that we saw in the cold open. Walt holds the entire bag in the air, similar to how someone would wave a gun if they were trying to make sure everybody held under attention. And Tuco realizes that he is serious about this. Gives him props on having balls, and he also said that the crystal is selling like crazy and wants another pound next week. I think this is hilarious because it goes back to Walt's expectations. He expected Walt to sell a pound in a night, and here Tuco, who is a wholesale distributor, he can't even sell it in a night. I need at least a week to sell this whole pound. Need you to come back. Walt wants the money up front, and there needs to be a 2 pound minimum if we're going to do this. Tuco gives him the money, and a deal seems to have been made. Walt walks back to his car and looks at the money, in which he gives out a raging yell. He was powered up. I'm assuming that yell was one of those, I'm just amped up and I'm hyped. Think about playing sports, making a big time play, dunking on somebody, running somebody over in football. You just got that adrenaline rush, and your life just seems like you on the top of the world. What did y'all think about this scene, this infamous scene from Breaking Bad? And I want to know specifically your thoughts on Walt's scream at the end. Was that an adrenaline rush? Was that just I'm that nigga? Like nobody can tell me anything right now. I'm fucking Heisenberg. I'm him.
Yeah, I think that's what that was.
Mm.
I think that's that's what that was. But we also showed his nose started bleeding, and coughing and shit. You can't even handle this, bro. Like that was as to what one of you said. That's a Thursday when you outside. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't no something that you think gonna happen once every however months. Not saying that it's like some insane back and forth that he's gonna be doing this every day, but it's still going to happen more than it is not going to happen. And you barely were able to handle this. But yes, I do agree with you. That was adrenaline. That's what he got into this for. That's what made him feel alive. That's the reason he's doing this in spite of cancer. So I do totally get that. But that still ain't even healthy for you.
I think this is the Walter White version of Tony Soprano's. I get it. Where it's like you don't quite. Everybody has an interpretation, but you don't quite get what that is. I didn't get adrenaline from it. Uh, I got because he seemed very frustrated still and very angry still. And what I got from it, at least how I was looking at it, is he's had a lot of built up anger for a lot of things for a long time, and that was finally like he just went in there fearless, like, bro, if I'm gonna die, I'm dying now. And like to go through there and get it off, and he's like, hey, man, this guy's crazy. He won't do it. He won't do it. Hey, but let's find out. And just getting that whole explosion thing off and walking back to his car, and then like I didn't cause see if there was like a smirk or like a nod or something, I would have felt like okay, it's adrenaline rush in the sense that I feel alive even though I'm dying. But I got a different sense that like there was just this anger where he's like that was like his last straw as far as like I finally make a decision for myself and do something I want to do, and then this happens. You do this to my partner, and so I just got this more of a angry thing, and he got to really express through that scene in that scenario.
Let me ask you a question since you brought that up because I know that's a great point. You know how people say if you knew the day, year, time of when you were gonna die, that you would live your life differently? Do you think that's what got into Walt? Do you think if Walt wasn't diagnosed with cancer, obviously he wouldn't be doing this in the first place, but do you think all of that has to do with, hey, I'm gonna leave, I'm checking out anyway, so I don't really give a fuck anymore?
Well,
Do you think that's
we
what purely motivates him?
yeah, I mean, I think he's having a fearless moment because you the whole episode they made sure they showed us how down bad he was. We see him throw up twice. We see him peeing in the toilet. We see what that looked like. We see how many pills he got to take. We see him showering and hair is coming out. We see how down bad he is. Where it's like, bro, this is happening whether you like it or not. You're dying. We get all they give us all those shots to see that he's dying. He's coughing, of course. He can't handle his classroom. So we see everything. So getting to this point, it's like, bro, I'm dying regardless. I don't care. And then of course he walks up with the nosebleed. So yeah, I think it's more of that.
I want to get, um, I want to get both of your reactions about the actual scene with Tuco though, like just the. Do you remember your first time watching it? Do you remember your reaction to it? What you thought? Did the show take a turn for you? Like I said, it took a turn for me with this. What was your first experience watching this whole scene and watching the same person that beat up Jesse, Walter handled pretty easily?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember it being a major turning point in the show for me in the sense of that's I call them MacGyver moments. So MacGyver moments in the sense of, okay, how is this person going to be able to compete in this field that they're in? With Tony, we knew he just had a savvy about himself amongst the other guys that he did business with. The MacGyver moment with Avon and the Wires when he's telling Stringer, like, bro, you playing too many away games. I don't do all of that rest of the shit that you do. His MacGyver moment was, I do street shit. This is what I'm good at. This is how I strategize and where I'm successful at. MacGyver moment for Marlowe. Like all of these characters that we know have these moments to show you how they're able to compete and be successful in this field. And with Walter was this one, like, oh, to quote Jesse later, science, bitch. Like I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna be smarter than you and using things you have no idea what it is, and that's how I'm gonna be able to get the upper hand in this world. Because otherwise, I have no shot. I'm just scolding Jesse about not being able to sell a pound in a night, which everybody thinks is ridiculous, but him, because he ain't from this world. So not being from this world, what are you gonna be able to use to keep you protected in this world? And this how smart he is, and we see that throughout the series.
Yeah, and I think that they done a good job because we're like at the penultimate episode of this season, where it's like everything Walt has been through, not over his whole life, but over these 6 episodes, has built him for this moment. Like he had to decompose a body, he had to kill somebody, you know what I'm saying, get rid of that body. He's made drugs, he has to fight cancer, he has to, set his car wash job straight. He's had to do a whole lot to get to this point, at least in just these 6 episodes, which I'd imagine takes a span of a few weeks. So getting to this point, it's like he's already at the point like, bro, it's whatever. Like you already know what I've been through, and I'm not a street guy at all. But like, bro, if we gonna die, I'm gonna die right here. But I did not make that batch for you to steal it and whip my homie. Like it's gonna be one or the other. If you whip my homie, then he should at least have some money. You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa, and he got to go away with the product, but you don't get both. And that's an
Speaking
ego
of,
thing and a pride thing. But I'm glad he stood on business in that sense.
speaking of, Spike Lee, you mentioned earlier about the motivations
Mhm.
between Walt and Jesse and the differences between that. What was it that you saw, and what do you think was motivating Walt compared to Jesse in this scene when he comes to? Because one might look at this and say, "Oh, Walt's a noble dude. He goes to Jesse's defense. He avenges him. He makes sure Jesse gets some money in his pocket for his pain and suffering. But you don't think it was as simple as, oh, he's just doing the right thing. What do you think his motivation was?
Absolutely not. This is him being in this world and going to one of you guys' point as to where this is the only place that Walter can be himself with. I don't want nobody thinking that they bigger and badder than me. Not over here, not where I get to create and draw with color pencils the world I want to create. I ain't dealing with Hank and Marie and my wife and my son who've been knowing me for umpteen years. I just went in here and met this dude. He's supposed to be this big time drug dealer. Guess what? Boom. I did this thing that scared him. He's driven by, in these scenarios, not to save Jesse, but to show that I'm the biggest, baddest mother. I'm Heisenberg. I'm that dude. I shouldn't even be able to come in this room with you and not have the same thing happen to me that happened to Jesse. But I was
Mm.
smart enough to avoid that. That was my motivation going into it. I feel
I,
like Walt really would have left him right there
I
if
think it's
he
a
didn't want to feel
little.
like he was bigger and better than Tuco.
I think it's a
Mm.
little premature to go with the Heisenberg though. Like as far as like, oh, I knew
He
like
said it. I didn't.
yeah, but
He
he
said
not,
it.
but not,
It's a
but I'm saying,
joke.
but you talking about right, but the motivation. I'm just saying the motivation of like him already kind of having the mindset of the Heisenberg thing.
But I think this is
I
the
think it's
early
a.
phase of it. This is the early phase of it. This
I
is like
think
stage one.
okay, but it's but I don't think he's going in with like the thought that like y'all got me messed up, so to speak. Like of and I can know what I could do.
I respectfully disagree with you. I think he went in like y'all got me messed up. I got to show y'all who I am and what I do.
I don't know if it's so much I got to show y'all. I'm with you as far as like, yeah, y'all got me messed up, but I don't know if it's so much I got to show y'all more so than like, hey, listen, this is what it's going to be.
Mm.
Mm. Understood. Uh, I don't know. I never really put thought into it. I think with me not knowing this series as well, like even this episode, there was a lot of stuff that was going on, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about this. I remembered obviously the big scene with Tuco, but I don't remember. I'll talk about it when we get to best scenes. Talk about it when we get to best scenes. Any other thoughts? As that's the final scene? Any other thoughts before we wrap this episode up?
Uh,
Nah, that's it. Yeah.
I don't think this is the best episode of the season. I thought I
You
would,
don't.
but I don't. When I first watched it, I did. This time, no.
Which one do you think is the pilot?
The third episode, I think, when it was on Walton, he had to get rid of Crazy Eight. I think that was the best episode.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I will say it didn't. I still want to give it credit for being that episode. I think that drew me all the way in and made me say, "Oh, I'm locked in now."
Yeah.
Um, but I don't remember it. Sometimes some episodes or some movies, once you see it the first time, it's like, all right, like the jig is up. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
cool, I appreciate it, but it doesn't have the same effect as the first time you watch it. I still think it's a great episode. I still think this is the best episode of the season,
Mm-hmm.
personally. But I also it didn't hit the same because it was made for that first watch wow factor. And plus, now I know Walt. You gotta think if you watching this for the first time at this point, that was completely shocking to you
Exactly.
that Walt was even capable of something like that. After seeing the rest of the series, it's like, oh shit, that's light work. That's a drop in the bucket for Walt. Like Walt's not even he ain't even come close to his sicko mode level. You know what I mean? And this is really a 0 out of 10 for all the heinous shit that he does. So for real, like it kind of is. So I get that part of it. So interesting, man. Interesting. And that wraps up our episode. But before we get out of here, we definitely have to go to our uh, what am I trying to say? Categories, but there was a word I was going to say. Superlatives. We'll call them superlatives for the episode. I want to ask you, brothers. I know it's not a
Like you
quotable show, but
fancy because you got your degree and shit.
you know every fucking thing.
You know every fucking
Uh,
thing.
I know it's not a quotable show, but did anybody have a favorite quote from the episode?
It's somewhere in that Jesse monologue where he was trying to tell him how you got to be introduced and all that, but nothing directly.
Yeah, my
Spike Lee?
quote is, who you think I am? Scarface?
Mine was from Tuco when Walt went to go see him about Jesse. He looks like he's trying to jog his memory, and all of a sudden just says, "Oh, I remember that little bitch." Just the way he said it, that line delivery was like, "Damn,
Yeah, then
Jesse gets
acted it
no
out
respect."
too. Like
Yeah, yeah. Well, acted out, punching him, beating him up. Like that was your man's, right? Your man's that I whooped up. Yeah. Uh, best scene. What was the best scene in the episode?
Jesse and Walt after he bring Walt to 2600.
Hmm.
that's
That
really
whole
good.
scene for me.
That's really good. I'm trying not to go with the obvious.
Which is the Tuco Walt scene.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of that because that is what like made me stay with the show. You know what I mean? Honestly, that seems like okay, there's something here.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna go with. It's a scene that I don't remember from the first time watching it that really stood out to me. And it's a Jesse and Walt scene, but it's the one when Jesse realizes that Walt has cancer. There was just a level of awareness that I didn't think Jesse was capable of, and he almost felt like a different character. Like, not only did he could he pinpoint that Walt even cause remember Walt even looked like, how'd you know that? Because my aunt went through the same thing. Asked him what stage it is, and once Walt told him, he even mentioned like he was on his Doogie Howser shit almost. Like, oh yeah, that means it's in your lymph nodes. Like Jesse knows more than what he gives on. And when you think about this series as an entirety, you just think of Jesse as a fuck up. You might think of him as a tragedy because it is a very tragic story, but you don't think of him too often as smart or alert or self aware. And I know this is only 6 episodes in, but you forgot about this version of Jesse that was there. And it was just a big shock watching it again. Like, yo, Jesse is a kind of decent dude. Like, he just got a rough, like, our guy said it, man. He's a loser, anti-loser, or well, I forget exactly what he
He's
said.
a
Loser
loser
hero.
winner, loser hero. Yeah,
Loser hero. And I get that. And that scene really just stood out to me just because of the attentive, him being attentive to what's going on around him. When it didn't seem like he was. He's still reading the nudie magazine in the middle of nowhere. He still got those Jesse qualities, but he's more than what you think on the surface. So I'm going to give it to that scene just because I was kind of surprised in a good way that, oh shit,
yeah.
Jesse kind of got some shit together. So
Jesse,
that's,
one of his skills is Jesse retains information fast.
mm.
Like that's if you notice, like how quickly he could pick up cooking, like almost getting the Heisenberg, down. So
And you
he
know
he he
what?
retains stuff pretty quickly.
And you know what? That makes perfect sense, especially when you think about him being good at art. Like that's one of those things where you are naturally, you don't necessarily just take classes and shit like that. If you're a natural artist, that's something you just pick up. You kind of know how to do. So that makes sense. Who took the half measure this episode? There's only one answer to me, but I'll let y'all go. It's only one
Hmm.
answer.
It's a few different ones, be honest. I mean, it's between two people for me, but I'm gonna go Jesse.
Hmm.
Okay.
Just because you linking up with Stinky Pete. You linked up last week with Badger. You got Stinky Pete bring you in with a guy that came out of prison and he tries the product in your face and makes you try the product and then he whoops you up and you get a few ribs broken like on some like you know what I mean? Then Walter telling you, hey, this ain't enough. You need to do this, this, and this. It's like, bro, you could have shut it right there. You know how to cook good enough meth to be. If you could live off your 2,600 or 1,300, you could live off that. Like, bro, this is the way it is for me. If not, bro, he can make your meth is good enough because Walter wouldn't. If he ain't link up with Jesse, he's not going to be in the meth business. Like, let's keep it a big like because Walter don't have them channels. So
Could you could you
yeah,
imagine getting beat up by a bag of money? Like beat up with a bag of money, like literally, like smacked in your face, broken. Man,
crazy.
it's wild. Spike Lou, who took the half measure for you?
I was on a back and forth between Skylar and Hank, and I'm gonna go with Hank.
Mm,
Use that big police brain to figure shit out. This
that's
whole this whole episode, the clues, and even leading up to this, we've been sitting it right there in your face. And because the lack of respect that you have for your brother-in-law, you just can't see it. It's good TV, but in the real world or with other good police officers that we see in television shows, not gonna fly. Not gonna fly.
This is one of the things that I'm excited about with this rewatch. In inspecting and investigating Hank's police skills and trying to determine is he good police or not. To me, there was only one answer for who got the half measure. Hugo. Hugo
Mm.
took the half measure this episode, man. Just off of a rap sheet. Not off any evidence, not any cold hard evidence that you caught me stealing these. You didn't catch me on video camera. There was no witness that said they saw me going in here after hours. You literally did a background check. You found out that I had some priors. You found a blunt in my car, and that led to you to believe that I came in, stole lab equipment, and cooked meth. And now I got to lose my job and do a couple months in county, and I didn't even do the shit. Got to be the half measure. Like he got to, and I'm cleaning up vomit. I'm trying to be a good
Mhm.
dude, and this is what it gets me. I love what you said earlier, Mo, about the mirror image. Like I never thought about that until I saw it. But yeah, Hugo, hands down, half measure. Rough go at it for him, man. Grand opening, grand closing in for my guy Hugo. Who was the MVP? Who took the full measure this episode?
It's really only one person.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the LeBron of this. It's Walter.
we tried not to do it, but yeah,
This you just got to like anything else is a reach. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm reaching.
Uh oh.
Then I'm going with Tuco.
Shout out to Skylar.
Tuco. I said maybe even Jesse. Jesse could be in the running because he still made the connection.
He did make the connection, but he got his ass whooped though. That moved him down one. But I'm going with Tuco. I just got me a new little connect. I'm finna debo these boys at some point. Like they don't know it yet. He came here and got the little dynamite shit off, and that was cool. But nigga, you should have killed me. Cause
Mm.
now I know I just beat your man's up, put him in the hospital. He came through with a pound. You came through with another pound the next day, and you trying to get me to get some more in a couple days. I'm finna run it up on y'all boys.
Teach your man how to
We
squabble.
we finna run a blitz, and it's over for your little whatever you got going on. I don't know yet, but I'm finna figure it out, and I'm finna like y'all out of here. So Tuco would be the winner. If I didn't see nothing else and was just looking from a street aspect of it, like Tuco looking just like I just found me a play.
Mm.
So
That's fair. I like it.
That's
I ain't
fair.
mad at
I
it.
do. I like that.
I'm not mad at it. Only reason I probably wouldn't go with Tuco is just because you got your office blown up.
you did get your office blew up,
You know what I'm saying?
but
You got some work to
survived.
do. You did
You
survive.
survived.
And
Now I'm
you
finna
weren't
run it
shook
up on
either.
y'all. Nah,
Tuco like shit like that.
he do. That's his bag.
Yeah, he likes shit like that.
And I'm looking at you and Jesse and like y'all. These my opponents. Ah, let's go. Let's turn up. Let's turn up.
Show me my opponent.
Yeah,
Swallow
because
my
that's probably the
opponent.
best. He probably looking at Wall like that's the best trick you got in your bag. That was impressive,
That was everything he had.
but that's it. That's everything you got. You blew your whole
Mm-hmm.
load. Pause.
Yeah.
I'm finna come, Leah. I'm finna show you something.
Hmm.
Fair enough, man. And then of course we get to the ranking of the episode. We got the mid pack. We got the 96.2 chili powder joint, and then we got Blue Magic. What are you guys saying? How are we ranking this episode?
This is a 96 joint for me.
Oh,
Yeah, this is not to me. This is not what people think it is. Like I didn't enjoy it like that. It was too much civilian stuff that was cool, but I didn't enjoy it like that. Like when it got to the fire part of it, it was great. But like the civilian stuff, it took a lot of time. Like you get that code open, and then we go away from that, and we get so much time with Walt at his school and the hospital and coughing and trying to cook, and we get a lot of sentimental stuff. And then at the end, it gets on the high, but it takes too long to get there. So for me, it's just no way to me this watching it now and doing a podcast, it could be the Blue Magic. Like it's it's a 96 joint.
Spike Lou.
I'm going to have to agree with Mo. I'm going with the 96 joint in the sense of looking at it now, and you know what it is too? It's bias. First time through watching this is 1,000,000% Blue Magic. But knowing how good the episodes get, so I am grading this on the curve. I will say that. is if I wasn't grading on the curve, I would have gave this a blue magic. But this giving it a blue magic, it won't be able to stand up with the rest of the blue magic that you give it to. It won't. It just won't. Like when we
That
go back over it at the end, like this, when you talk about this one, if you give it blue magic, it's gonna be the least rated one because that's how good the episodes get.
that is fair, and I did just mention that. Hey, the first watch is a little bit different from the rest. I agree with that. However, Blue Magic, it's a
Mm.
brand name like Pepsi. It's a brand name. I stand behind it. I guarantee it. This is definitely a Blue Magic episode, man. It's a meaningful, sentimental. Y'all did the same thing with college, so I expect
Mm.
this. I expect this out of you animals. But
No, I got that. That was a made
I
episode for me. That was
it
made for
was it
me.
was definitely it wasn't made for Spike Lee. I
Nah, that
remember
wasn't
that.
made for Spike. It was made for me
I
though.
remember
I
that.
champion that a whole lot.
Whatever
Yeah, okay.
happened there, whatever happened
Whatever
there.
happened there. But no, I just think that while I do agree, and one of the things about doing this watch is forgetting a lot of these. We've been talking about the dog days of Breaking Bad because there's so much that happens in this series that this is gonna pretty soon this is gonna be a distant memory. All these episodes are gonna be a distant memory once we really start cooking. Because once this show picks up, it doesn't stop. It's just like a continue. It's like an avalanche. Continuously rolls downhill, gets bigger, 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 bigger. And I don't want to mistreat this episode because I know what's gonna happen. I want to make sure this has its own place and time. There's only 7 episodes in season one. I do think this is the best episode. I would love to hear from all y'all out there who's listening what you think the best episode of season one. But this is going to be Blue Magic for me. And next week we go ahead and wrap up the season. Excuse me, not next week, but next episode. Remember, we will be off next week for Thanksgiving, but the episode after that, we will go ahead and wrap up the season and kind of have a nice little discussion there before we roll right into season two. So, with that being said, that is our episode. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you so much for all the things that you do, for all your support. Please continue to write in those emails. Please continue to show us that love.
What's the email address?
Can't tell you enough. I was just about to say, no more half measures pod at gmail.com. Once
Mhm.
again, that is no more half measures pod at gmail.com. If you want to write us on Instagram, excuse me, it's NMHM underscore Breaking Bad.
Mhm.
Is it Breaking Bad or Breaking Bad pod?
It is. I think it's Breaking Bad
Breaking Bad pod.
Pod.
So NMHM underscore Breaking
Breaking
Bad
Bad Pod.
pod.
Yep.
So NMHM stands for No More Half Measures underscore Breaking Bad Pod. On
Hmm.
Instagram, you can hit us up there. We love to have y'all part of the conversation. Can't wait to talk to you. Hopefully, everybody enjoys time with your family or time by yourself. Hopefully, it's a time for rest, a time for peace. Things look different for you this year compared to years past. Maybe somebody's not at the table that was used to. Man, we send you love, we send you peace, we send you light, and we look forward to joining you back in a couple weeks. So, with that being said, y'all be cool. We'll catch you on episode 7. We out.